welcome to J. Ferg Field at Buffalo Stadium, where tonight West Texas A&M will try to pick up its first Lone Star Conference win of the early season, welcoming Western New Mexico to town as the Buffs try to bounce back following last Saturday's road loss at UT Permian Basin. I'm Lucas Kinsey alongside my broadcast partner Bryce Sheets. Glad to have you with us here this evening. Each team tonight comes into this game with one win on its resume. Both the Buffaloes and the Mustangs won their season openers as WT crushed NAIA opponent Texas College 73-0. We were here for that one. And Western New Mexico, the Mustangs, they cruised in their season opener at Adams State, winning 35-17. However, week two was not quite as impressive really for either team. Western New Mexico lost at home in Silver City, New Mexico to Western Colorado 49-14. Their defense struggled. Really, a lot of things went wrong, but they surrendered 468 total yards of offense in that loss. West Texas A&M, the Buffaloes, they went to Odessa into a hostile territory. Odessa, the upstart Falcons of UTPB, they defeated the Buffs by the score of 42-31. WT's defense struggled in that one as well, as they allowed a school record 6 passing touchdowns to UTPB's quarterback Clayton Roberts. Bryce, each team, they're licking their wounds a little bit after suffering those losses last week. This game becomes crucial for both squads here in week 3 because now the margin of error in the conference play is very small. What are you looking for tonight from each of these teams? Well, that's a good point. And the thing that really is of concern for both is they don't want to fall, another loss in the conference. I know Western is, they've kind of skated along and they're just now getting into the conference. But for Western New Mexico, the thing they don't want to see happen is a team score 35 points in the first quarter. Then you're playing from behind the entire quarter. So the running game is basically out the window and you're throwing the football. And that's really what they had to do to make things happen. For West Texas A&M, it's your secondary. You really need your secondary to step up. Again, allowing 6 touchdown passes in that ball game against UTPB. I know that's been a point of emphasis. Obviously, it helps when you have somebody coming back that we kind of like to watch, seeing Tobias Harris. And so that's very important because not only does he bring the physicality, but he also brings that little oomph, that little extra emotion that teams really thrive and really build on. We're excited to learn more as the broadcast goes on about the Western New Mexico head coach, Philip Vigil. Had a chance to visit with him earlier this week. Really nice guy and a good coach. He's got a lot of his resume is really strong, and Kent Johnson will have more on that later in the pregame show. But for WT, you go back, Bryce, you talk about last week, and Hunter Hughes, as we talked to him earlier in the week, said we just weren't ready to play. It seemed like with our mentality and our oomph, our swag, if you will. And so they're hoping Tobias Harris can give them that. But here's another thing: no matter how prepared you are, if you miss 27 tackles in a game, that's a problem. And the Buffs did that last week at UTPB. A lot of these plays that went for long pass completions and some of them for touchdowns was a 7-yard curl. You don't tackle, and the guy goes 60 yards. Yeah, and that's one of the big things I know they probably pushed in practice this week is better tackling and better form tackling. That's the thing that they probably struggled on, not just this year, but I mean in the last couple of years. They've kind of, I know they promote that, they push that, they really emphasize that, but the players got to buy into it too, and they've got to really, when they got to wrap up and they've got to take a guy down to the turf, you can't olay anybody and have a missed tackle go by. And so that's one of the things I know they probably worked on a little bit. But back to what you said, too, and what's really important is you got to come out from the get-go ready to go. And based on what we've heard so far out on the field today, it sounds like the Buffs are ready to go. We talked about Tobias Harris coming back. There's some other players coming back. One of those players is on the offensive line, a guy that we love watching play over the last several years. Yes. That's Parker Hanna. What does he mean to this offense? Well, again, he kind of drives that offensive line and gives them stability. And so one of the things that big number 55 does. The Shark. Yeah, exactly. The Shark, his self-titled nickname, is he gives you both sides of the ball. And what I mean by that is on the offensive line, definitely strong at left tackle, but he can flip and go to the right tackle too. And so you can plug him in on either side, and he anchors that offensive line from either side. And that's very important when you want the running game to really carry you, and that's what the Buffs want to do. All right, the Buffs and the Mustangs, they have met 10 times with West Texas A&M. winning 7, and Western New Mexico winning 3. The last matchup was in 2020 right here in Canyon, with WT winning 45-21. Tonight, one team will leave with a second win under its belt. The other will finish with a loss and have a 1-2 record. After a quick timeout, we'll hear from WT head coach Hunter Hughes. You're watching Buffalo football right here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
The best tailgates start with the best beef, and the best beef starts with Market Street. Market Street, where we do beef the best.
Choosing the right countertops for your kitchen can be tricky. Nowadays, there are hundreds of colors, patterns, and textures and materials that range from natural to engineered stone. Marble Depot is here for you throughout every step of the process. And yes, we do have a lot of options that might make that decision a little harder, but we're also going to ask the right questions so that you get the most out of your investment. So come by our showroom and let us help create what you've been dreaming of.
Welcome to Shimon Dental Group, where every day we're excited to see our patients and treat them like family.
We are dedicated to providing you with the highest quality care in a friendly and comfortable environment. Shimon Dental Group's patient-focused philosophy puts your needs front and center.
We are constantly investing in leading-edge technology.
Innovations that speed the treatment process and improve aesthetics. We're expanding the breadth of our cosmetic and restorative services through training to provide the best possible outcomes.
Just with the level of commitment that they show to taking care of my family and I, it's absolutely unmatched in this town, so I've been very happy with them.
Brightening smiles for more than 3 decades.
Contact Shimon Dental Group for your appointment today.
We got to look at the film, learn from the mistakes, and make sure that we don't make them again. Hopefully we emptied the bucket of mistakes this week. So,
offensively, I know you ran the ball. You were able to run the ball. It seemed like Nick had trouble getting open to receivers a little bit.
Yeah, Nick had a lot of time because he
did have time.
I think they rushed 3 a lot, and so Nick was back there. Receivers weren't getting open because they're dropping 8, and I think we had. I thought we were running the ball well at times. I thought our running backs could have hit the hole a little harder, and instead of sitting back there dancing. And when you dance right there, that allows everybody to come up. I mean, see a crease and go. So we talked about that, what our running backs need to do to get better. But there's a lot of football left to be played. It's not like that. It's not the end of the world. So, are we pissed? Yeah. Are we mad at ourselves for making the mistakes? Yeah. But are they mistakes that we know we can fix? Absolutely. So that's what we're focusing on. So.
Western coming in Saturday, they took a tough loss. Before I get there, this conference is nuts. I mean, Midwestern beats Commerce.
Came back from 30-10.
Yeah. What is that? When you look at the LSC, all of a sudden, the landscape has shifted.
Well, I mean, it's momentum.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, UTPB can say, they won 7-8 games in a row now. I think 8 with that.
Yeah.
And then they got a lot of momentum, so they're building confidence, and it's hard to stop that. And we told our team that. And, they have a lot of confidence what they're doing offensively and defensively because they won. Doesn't matter who they played; they won the games. So I think that's where Midwestern. It seems like in that game, caught lightning in a bottle going in the fourth quarter, and things just started snowballing. Hey, I've seen it here happen my first year here against Pueblo. Right. And we scored 3 touchdowns in the last 7 minutes of the game or so. I mean, it happens. That's why I think if we if we get on that ball at the goal line, I mean, the momentum starts swinging. And now you got excitement. Now guys are juiced up and they're ready to go. And but if ifs and buts are candy and nuts, it'd be Christmas tomorrow. So that's how life goes.
Western New Mexico coming in Saturday. Can you talk about what they do, what you see?
They're going to be kind of very similar. They got 11 personnel. Play a tight end. They got a quarterback. Transfer. I think he's from Florida Tech. but he sits in the pocket and he dances around and he makes things happen. He's not a great runner, but he can move in the pocket and he looks downfield, and they've made some big plays with him doing that. Then they've got this tight end, number 9, who played against us a couple years ago, and he's a 5'9", 5'10", just dang good football player. I mean, a really good football player. And he can do a lot of things. So we'll look at him. They got some receivers that I don't really know. And just seeing 2 games, kind of looking at them, what they're running. I haven't really looked at how they run their routes. But they got some speed on the outside. Running game, they didn't run a whole lot Saturday against Western Colorado because they got behind so much. So when you look at their tendencies and that from an offensive standpoint, it's different. It's different because you got to kind of break it down into a game that they're in for a while and then take over, and then a game that they're trying to scramble and come back. So defensively, I think we're going to get a lot of looks at them at the line of scrimmage a lot, send a lot of people. It's basically man free or cover 3, and then they'll throw some zero coverage in there. So our offensive line will have a heck of a week getting ready for what they're going to show us up front. And, hopefully our our receivers can get open in their secondary, since we had issues with that last time.
Mic check, 1,
when
2,
joints
you got
begin
me?
to fail, it's more
Check,
than
1,
an
2.
inconvenience.
Mic check.
The relentless, grinding pain slows you down and can even stop you from doing the things you enjoy in life. At Physicians Surgical Hospitals, our skilled orthopedic experts are using advanced robotic surgeries to get you back to being you sooner with a less painful recovery. We're doing more than restoring joints. We're restoring lives.
Welcome back to Buffalo Stadium. Let's head down to the field. Kent Johnson has a report on Western New Mexico.
This Western New Mexico team is going through an all too familiar scenario this year. They're playing under a new head coach. This year, it's Philip Vigil. Why is that all too familiar? Vigil is the 3rd head coach the Mustangs have had in their last 4 years of competition. They didn't play at all in 2020 due to COVID protocols. Adam Clark finished his reign in Silver City in 2017. His final game for the Mustangs took place just up the road at Kimbrough Memorial Stadium, where he led the Mustangs to a victory over the Buffaloes and then resigned the following week. That brought on Frank Tristan as the head coach. In 2 seasons in Silver City, Tristan managed just 1 win before departing in 2020. Now they bring on Philip Vigil. His resume is a solid foundation for what you want in a head coach. He was a successful starting quarterback as a collegiate at Colorado Mesa. He led the Mavericks to the 2017 playoffs. In fact, my first game with the Buffaloes came in 2018 in Grand Junction. The season opener, Philip Vigil was the starting quarterback for the Mavericks. The Buffs won thanks to a late-game fumble recovery by current Hall of Champions member Jared Brock. Vigil then got into the coaching reins. He first went to Northwest Missouri State, where he was also on staff with current defensive coach for the Buffaloes, Will Wagner. Following Northwest Missouri State, he went back to his alma mater of Colorado Mesa, where he worked with current WT offensive coordinator Russ Martin. Most recently, he spent the last 2 years in Nacogdoches, Texas at Stephen F. Austin, serving under Colby Carthel. Now he's ready to be a head coach. Tonight is his 3rd game with the Mustangs. They open the season the way every head coach would like to open, with an easy 35-17 win on the road at Adams State. But visiting with Coach Vigil earlier tonight, that was also the worst thing that could have happened, because the Mustangs thought it was going to come easy. They returned home last week to face Western State and saw Western State hang the first 42 points of the game on the scoreboard before the Mustangs finally rallied for 14 in losing 49-14. Challenges? Well, there are many, but the biggest challenge that Vigil has is establishing culture. Yeah, that's coach speak, but it's true. When a team has done nothing but lose year after year after year, their current players expect to lose. The best season the Mustangs have had of late was 2016 when they went 5-6. Adam Clark's last year was 4-7. Since then, they've only managed a handful of wins. V-Hill's got them at 1-1 tonight. When we come back, Lucas and Bryce will break down this Western New Mexico lineup. It's full of transfers, 20 of them to be exact. They come from places such as Oklahoma, TCU, Iowa State. It's up to V-Hill and his staff to mold them together into a competitive team. You're watching Buffalo football right here on the WT Sports Network. We'll be right back.
Buffalo Stadium, Lucas Kinsey alongside Bryce Sheets. And it was a great report down on the sideline from Kent Johnson, Western New Mexico. Bryce, we've been in some crazy games with Western New Mexico, and one of them actually was one you didn't make it to, but it was the Silver City Miracle. The first year we were broadcasting with the Buffaloes, and they made a big comeback in the fourth quarter, take it to overtime, and then they end up winning. But you never know what's going to happen. The thing that's exciting, I think, about this one tonight is, again, you have two teams, 1-1, two teams that are coming off a loss that you know they're hungry. You know these teams want to come out, compete, and get a win. And so I think that whoever starts the fastest could have a big upper hand there.
Yeah, they really can. And the thing that's going to be interesting is what Kent talked about, the number of new players that are on the sideline for Western New Mexico. You really don't know how they've gelled. You don't want them to gel tonight for sure, but that's the thing that WT has to be guarded against, is making sure nobody gets to make a big play.
Yeah. Let's look at some of our keys to the game for tonight. And one of the first keys that we talk about is respond. How do you respond after you kind of get knocked down to the mat, boxing terms, right?
Well, the way you do respond is you come out ready to go. And that started in practice this week. And so the Buffaloes, and again, you saw it on the sideline when you were down there earlier today, they have a different mindset. They've got to be ready to go. They've got to be ready to play. And I don't think they were to where UTPB was basically that was their big game.
We'll step aside, come back with more of the keys and starting lineups back after this here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Jenkins Doors and Windows began serving the Texas Panhandle in 1927, and we take pride in being a part of your neighborhood. We don't use false promises or gimmicks. We simply offer quality doors and windows at a fair price, and we stand behind every sale. Jenkins is family owned and operated and proudly continues the traditions of quality and excellence that started over 80 years ago. Call us at 372-4336 or stop by our showroom at 820 West 6th and let our knowledgeable staff help you pick out the perfect doors and windows for your home.
Welcome to MetaDrive Pharmacy, Canyon's hometown pharmacy for over 32 years. We greet you by name, and our pharmacists take the time to counsel you and answer all your questions. Our Health Mart Pharmacy specializes in serving our community with fast, friendly, professional service and the highest quality medicines and health products. We accept most insurance plans, including Medicaid and Medicare, and we offer free in-town delivery to your home or business. Come visit us for all your healthcare needs.
For 90 years, the Lone Star Conference has been committed to excellence. What began in 1831 as a 5-team conference has grown to 18 institutions spanning 4 states. And while membership has changed, the pursuit of athletic success and academic excellence has never wavered. 119 national championships, over 2,000 All-Americans, and nearly 300 academic All-Americans. Celebrating 90 years of success, this is the Lone Star Conference.
J. Ferg Roofing has been protecting our community for 15 years. With more than 30,000 homes and businesses protected by our roofing work, we're proud of our ability to provide efficient, lasting solutions for your roofing needs. What makes us stand out from the competition is that we work for you, dedicated team members who guide you every step of the way. That is the J. Ferg Advantage. Quality, experience, fast pass schedule, customer rewards. We have it all. Call J. Ferg Roofing today for a free inspection. We are J. Ferg Roofing. We are more.
All right, here the West Texas A&M band out there under the direction of B.J. Brooks, and a phenomenal job that they do. We got to see great bands last night at the high school at the homecoming game for Canyon, but I walk into the stadium, that's the first thing I see is this beautiful shot down on the field, and the band is out there warming up. It doesn't get any better on Saturdays when you got that band out there.
No, it really doesn't. One of the best in the entire area, and by area, I mean the state and the surrounding states. They're so fantastic. They do such a great job, and they do help set the tone for what needs to be taking place out of the field.
Well, the Buff fans hope that they're going to hear a lot of that band playing tonight as hopefully they get the scoring going. Going back to our keys to the game, Bryce, the second key that we talked about is the defense for West Texas A&M. Obviously, last week, UTPB, give the Falcons a lot of credit. They got the ball to their playmakers. They made a lot of those big plays, but defensively, the Buffaloes, front seven, they got to bring more pressure. Secondary obviously has to do their thing hand in hand, but defensively, you want to see a better effort.
Well, you really do, and that's the thing we saw in Texas College. The front seven were putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Not so much last week. They need to pick that back up again this week.
And then the last key, I'm just saying, calling all dogs, right? Not like Cleveland in the dog pound, but we need the dogs. That's what the coaching staff, even Andre Pope, the defensive backs coach, he posted something on Twitter today, and he said it's time for the dogs to come out.
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
Well, and it just means, again, that intensity. You want that little oomph. You want that, the guys that are coming out and they want to bark at you. They really do. And so with the Tobias Harris coming back, even a Parker Hanna coming back on the offensive line, those guys, Parker's not known for that, but he brings that leadership. And that's what you want. You want leadership, especially in that young secondary.
Yeah, a lot of confidence they hope to see. Let's look at our starting lineups and also some of our X factors of the game. So we'll look at those starting lineups right now. And for West Texas A&M, on the offensive side, you look there and you see a similar starting lineup. Right now, the offensive line, it could be Grayson Williams at right tackle or it could be Parker Hanna. We'll have to see. But let's talk about this guy up here, our Steakhouse X factor of the game, and that is Khalil Harris. Through 2 games, Bryce, he's already having a great season.
Well, he really is, and that's the thing. He has brought a little bit more quickness this year, and again, he is one of those guys that really doesn't go east and west so much, tries to go north and south. And so, as you can see here, once he gets to that second level, then he finds that extra gear, and then he is off to the races. And so that's a real big key because he can get to that second level and find that extra speed that you need for separation.
Yeah, on the season, he's got 4 touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns. He's averaging 103. This was last week against UT Permian Basin. He scored a couple of touchdowns. It was a tough night in terms of they didn't allow too much up front, but the Buffs were able to run the football.
Yeah, they were. And again, go back to what Coach Hughes talked about. He said, give them the credit. They won the ball game, but we did some things to shoot ourselves in the foot. And so one of the things we have to establish is the run game.
And you talk about that run game, and it's the guy we just talked about, Parker Hanna. The offensive line, there is more depth there this season, and so if he's able to get back in there, that can only help things, as that offensive line has been very solid with Alcorta, Jacoby Lott, the transfer from Kansas, Zane Madison, the center, and then Dietrich, and also Grayson Williams. We expect to see also a guy that Hunter Hughes likes, Patrick Gray. He's smaller, but Coach Hughes described him as nasty in the best way possible.
Well, and that's true. And again, that goes back to what you asked about as far as what does it mean calling all dogs. He's one of those guys that brings that attitude. He brings that intensity. And so, again, he kind of snarls a little bit when he's out there playing. And so you want to see that.
All right, let's look at your defensive starters for the Buffaloes. And we look down and you see for West Texas A&M, again, a guy, we don't know if he's going to start, but we do know he is suited up and he is ready to play, and that's in the secondary. We expect to see Tobias Harris. But another change potentially could be at linebacker. Chris Thomas may not be able to play tonight, so we're expecting Dylan Hofferechter to get in there and play. Mr. Clean, as you know him, the bald look, 6 foot, 210-pound redshirt freshman from China Spring. But, Bryce, let's talk about our X factor of the game. That's the defensive line with Xavier Rivera.
Well, Xavier, of course, didn't get to play much last year. We saw him 2 years ago, and he was an X factor. He made the difference when he was out there putting pressure on different people. That's a good example right there, a poorly thrown ball, because he is in the face of the quarterback, and so That's what you want. That's where you want that front seven, put that extra pressure on the quarterback.
Again, our X factor of the game defensively will be Xavier Rivera, 6'2", 290-pound sophomore out of Abernathy. And you look at these other guys on the defensive line. Dylan Mata, obviously an incredible athlete, 6'2", 235-pound sophomore out of Austin. He's making his 11th career start. Jalen Hill on the other side. But Coach Hughes, Bryce, continues to talk about these freshmen. He's got 3 freshmen, Jamarcus Head, Wayman Smith, Eric Goodman, who are all they're a little undersized right now because they're true freshmen.
Sure.
But they're long and they are fast.
So when you're long, what that means is you can get your hands up.
Yeah, 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, cause problems for the quarterback. And they like the speed factor, and that is a key. And so, defensive line coach J.T. Haddon, who he raves on these guys. He loves the way they play, and that's why he said early in the season we would see them get in reps. They get the opportunity to come out and play to see what they can do in a game situation. And as everybody knows, it's totally different in a game than it is in practice.
For West Texas A&M, you look at defensively, a stat that's interesting is in 2020, in just 6 games, but again, what they played last year more than any other Division II school, 5 passing touchdowns allowed in 6 games, right? Last week at UTPB, they allowed 6 passing touchdowns there. And so the good sign is that young man right there leading the charge as the Buffs make the walk down the ramp there in the tunnel, and that's Tobias Harris.
Well, again, you see him kind of getting pumped up, getting excited, and that's why he's leading the group. And basically that spreads throughout every line that's coming out there. And so that's what they're counting on, and the coaches count on that leadership from Tobias.
Look at some of the other positions for West Texas A&M, and defensively with the linebackers. Here's a guy to keep your eye out on for tonight, and that is number 36, Talon Hickerson. He's 6'3", 200-pound redshirt freshman out of Missouri City, and we've not seen him yet. Hunter Hughes says he's probably our most athletic linebacker, and so he's excited. He's going to be suited up tonight and ready to go, and that gives more depth again to a unit that has some stars with guys like Eric Collins. But also, if Chris Thomas is out tonight, you need someone to step up.
Yeah, you really do, because Chris Thomas is that guy. We're, again, talking about bringing on the dogs. He is one of those guys that plays with that intensity, and so he's not in the lineup tonight, so somebody else needs to step up and bring that atmosphere.
I want to remind everyone the broadcast tonight is sponsored by the Buffalo Club, and we appreciate their support. We appreciate all of our sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Excited for Lone Star Conference action again tonight. Warm weather again as the Buffaloes make their way onto the field.
Yeah, it was quite warm on the walk over from the parking lot.
That's
91 degrees, and so you'll see. You don't think that's much of a factor, but western New Mexico, they're at the higher elevation. They're up in the mountains, a little cooler. And so I know I was talking to Brad Stark, the PA announcer here at Buffalo Stadium, and he was saying one of their players was talking about, man, you go in their locker room, there's air conditioning. It's really not. Well, they don't need it in the mountains. So that's why it's different. And so, yeah, they're excited about it.
For Western New Mexico, again, a 1-1 record. Their 2 games, a 35-17 win at Adams State, 49-14 loss against Western Colorado at home last week. And a key player for Western New Mexico, it will be interesting to see if he's able to go, is their running back to start the season, number 7, Bryce Coleman. He's a captain. He's a leader for this team. He's a 5'9", 185-pound senior out of Tucson, Arizona. He was injured, got banged up, did not play last week. And so Coach Vigil, in talking to him earlier, he said, we hope to have him back because he said he's quick, he's low to the ground, he's a powerful guy, but he said more than anything, he's a leader for this team.
Well, and that's the thing, 110 yards in that opening game. And so, again, that sets the tone by example a little bit. And so that's why they're excited about a senior leader on a team that has a lot of transfer in. And so they're still trying to find that chemistry. And when you have that kind of a leader that goes out, that disrupts the chemistry. So they're hoping to have that back again today.
There's some familiar names, Bryce, for you and I as we look down at the spotter board. Again, Western New Mexico, they didn't play last year.
Right.
And so it's for their program. I mean, they're trying to get things going. It's the 3rd head coach they've had over the last 5 seasons for them. And so a lot of change, but you see some familiar faces. How about number 9? He's played fullback, he's played tight end, but Oli Teasi, a big 5'10", 240-pound senior from Pago Pago out of American Samoa. they've got some players on their roster. They may not have as much depth, but I'm telling you, they have some talent.
Well, and that's the thing. One of the things they feasted on a little bit was those linemen from Samoa that could come in and make some things happen. And so, that was kind of similar to what the West Coast teams do. They were doing the same thing in Western New Mexico.
We're going to have the coin toss here. Xavier Rivera, Mauricio Gonzalez, and Khalil Harris, the captains for WT.
One thing we do see out there, one of the captains is Bryce Coleman, so he is out there as one of the captains, suited up. It looks like he's ready to go. Another that's out there is David Melendez, a defensive lineman. He is not.
West Texas has won the toss. They've elected to defer. Western New Mexico will receive in the north end zone.
Okay, so we will see the Mustang offense first to start this game. I want to mention your officials for tonight's game, for the contest. Had a chance to visit with the officials before we started, and I'll talk about that. It's always fun to go down and chat with the white hat and the crew. But
absolutely.
The referee is Joshua Bannerman. Your umpire, Kevin Woodburn. The head linesman will be Eric Reinhardt. Field judge, Ryan McLemore. The line judge is Jeremy Hill. Side judge, James Wilcox. Back judge, William Majors. And the center judge is Joseph Silvas. And so, Bryce, here's a couple things. So, one, and Hunter Hughes talked about it on the coaches show earlier this week, and you didn't go too deep into it, but I was on the sideline last Saturday at UTPB, and the first thing Hunter Hughes said, and I'll say it as well, the Falcons deserve to win that game. They outplayed WT.
Right.
However, there were some antics. There were some things that went on that were unsportsmanlike, and some penalties were called, some were not. And so in talking to the officials before the game, I just asked, I said, points of emphasis this year. You guys tell me, what are you all looking for in general? And the first thing he said is unsportsmanlike conduct. He said, we want to make sure that there's not a lot of taunting going on, that there's not things that really have nothing to do with football. I kind of stopped and just gave a sly look, and he said, yep. And so that's all that needed to be said about that. But you want to make sure this is a competitive game.
Yeah,
this is a game where the emotions run high.
Yes.
But you do want to make sure that both sides keep it clean, and so I expect that that's what we will see here tonight between the Buffaloes and the Mustangs.
Well, again, good crowd filtering in here for tonight. We had the tailgate going on earlier. Started at 3 this afternoon. I heard a lot of people, including Brad Stark, the PA announcer, were enjoying their time down in the tailgate area before they made their way here to the stadium, and fans are still filtering in as we get set for this one to get underway here tonight at Buffalo Stadium.
So again, Western New Mexico will receive the kickoff to start things. They'll send back to return Josh Powell, sophomore out of St. Louis, Missouri, and also number 16, David Tellis, a 5'8", 165-pound junior from Los Angeles, California. They've got players, a lot of players from the state of California, a lot of players from the state of Arizona, as Silver City nearly into Arizona. It's all the way across the state. The Buffs ready to kick off with Mauricio Gonzalez. Right foot into leather, and we're underway. Tellis will bring it out of the end zone. Across the 10. Quick penalty marker flies as the tackle is made just across the 10 at the 12-yard line. Good special teams play for the Buffaloes.
Heston Marshall, I'll tell you, he uses that speed and got up the field and made the tackle.
Last week was able to visit with his high school coach. And
during the return, legal block in the back, return team, number 29, half the distance,
he made the
first down.
Odessa, and was really nice to visit with, and he was wanting Heston to get as many kick returns as possible. Well, he got one last week, Heston did, and he took it back, Heston did, for a 55-yard kick return. He didn't get any after that.
I was going to say, what they do the rest of the game, they kicked away from him. And so, again, he's proving to be a very valuable weapon to have in a lot of different areas for WT this year. Other games going on, Kingsville's playing at Eastern New Mexico, West Florida, Texas A&M Commerce, Midwestern State at Angelo, UT Permian Basin at Abilene Christian, and, of course, the game we have going on here.
And so the penalty will back up Western New Mexico inside the 5-yard line. Quarterback looking to throw. That's Devin Larson in trouble, taken down. He's able to get back up to the 5-yard line. Good pursuit from that Buffs defensive line. And also, like we said, Bryce, secondary has to do their job. Nobody was open on first down.
Well, one of the things I saw last week, too, and I didn't make the game, but I scored along at home, I like to say, and the front three didn't have a lot of penetration, didn't have a lot going on. Dylan Mata is the one that makes that stop right there.
So 2nd down and 11 here for Western New Mexico. Quick pass on the outside, caught. And it's Powell that's able to get across the 10 up to the 12-yard line. So short gain there, but it sets up a manageable 3rd down for Devin Larson, the quarterback, a 6'3", 200-pound freshman, still a freshman, but a transfer. Interesting story with him, Bryce. He started at Iowa State.
Right.
Didn't play at Iowa State, so he transferred to Garden City Junior College last season. Got hurt 4 games into it. Now he's at Western New Mexico, and right now he's completing a pass to to number 11 that time.
Vincent Rankin.
For a 1st down for Western New Mexico. And Coach Vigil told me, he said, look, Devin Larson's a guy that if he doesn't get hurt last year, 4 games into his season at Garden City, he said he's not on our roster. He was that talented.
Right. And so, opportunity for them, pick up a good quarterback. Obviously played Division I football.
Good catch for Rankin, the 185-pound sophomore, a transfer from Kentucky State. They get Teasi in motion as he's a lead blocker. They throw it out to Powell. And he's hit right at the 20-yard line, was able to get up to the 21. And making the stop for the Buffaloes was the safety, Anoza.
Yeah, Michael comes up and makes the stop, does a nice job there, and then got some help as well from Cole Ulster, who came in, kind of lowered an extra helmet on the play.
Anoza, the talented sophomore for the Buffs defense. Another screen pass out to the outside and good blocking, and that's going to be another 1st down for Western New Mexico. They get it into the hands of Powell, and he follows Vincent Rankin's blocking. If your receivers are blocking like that downfield, that's a good sign.
But it really is, and that's the thing that allowed him to pick up the 1st down, because Rankin he establishes the block, turns it back to the inside, and so that allowed the receiver to get to the outside and pick up the additional yardage for the 1st down.
So right now, Western New Mexico, after being backed up inside their 5-yard line, is getting out of trouble here. Larson rolls to the left, has a man down there, but he just throws it away. He had an open receiver. I don't know if he saw 83 Corbin Gibson at the last second.
I think he saw 2 defenders in between, and would have to get it over the top. I think that's why he threw it away.
So he saves it, and it'll be 2nd down. Western New Mexico, and one thing that Coach Vigil wanted to improve on this week is through 2 games, they've had 18 penalties.
Yeah, and we saw in a game we did last night, too, penalties really hurt one team more so than another, and they always do, so you want to clean things up.
2nd down and 10. This is a handoff to Bryce Coleman, that running back that we were talking about at Adams State to open the season. 31 carries, that's a lot.
Dylan Hoffrecker comes up and makes the stop, and again, he comes in place of Chris Thomas. Got the start tonight, so makes a tackle, and so makes his dad proud, because we understand he's wearing the same number his dad wore here at WT.
That's a pretty cool thing to do, is go to the same school as Pops and also wear the same number. Penalty marker flies, and the Buffs reacting like that's going to be movement against Western New Mexico. Going back to Coleman, the running back for the Mustangs.
False start.
In the first game, 31
55
carries,
of the
110
offense.
yards, 2 rushing
5-yard
touchdowns.
penalty.
He also had 6 catches.
3rd down.
That's something Western New Mexico has always done. They will throw to their running back.
Yeah, they really will. And again, that's the thing. When you bring a new staff in, a new coaching staff, they try not to change as much, because some of the players are familiar with the old playbook, so they're using some of those same plays, including, like you said, the tosses to the running backs.
So they back them up, and it's 3rd down and 10 here for Western New Mexico. They turn and look to the side as James Hoban, new running back in, a sophomore. He's a transfer from Pacific University. And they're going to look to throw. Larson in trouble and taken down. Buffs do a great job. They nearly ripped the ball out. And was that one of those talented freshmen along with Jalen Hill?
Yeah, coming in to make the stop is a 96, and that's Michael Smith, who comes in and is able to get a good hit on the quarterback and almost caused the fumble, as you can see here in the replay, and maybe not, but nevertheless did a nice job to get the ball loose and force a punting situation. We have 2 back there that are in the punting formation. That's different.
Okay, it's like which one's going to get this ball in their hands and punt? And waiting for the punt is Heston Marshall at his own 30. The punt is dropped, and now Western's in trouble, running at the 25-yard line, trying to make yardage and stopped well short of the 1st down. at the 29-yard line. It was number 35 there for Western New Mexico, Corey Coleman. Actually, that's Carson Bachman, but that was a busted play there.
Yeah, from the get-go, low snap. It was bobbled. He couldn't get a handle on it. So then once he does, he takes off on the run. But the Buffs had that sniffed out, and they were able to make that stop. And so getting the offense now, great field position for WT's first offensive possession.
Special teams with a nice play there for the Buffs on taking advantage of the miscue. Parker Hanna starting left tackle. And on first down, Gerber will throw, has a man open. It's caught by Caleb Olesen. Whoa, jukes the defender out and then is slung out of bounds after picking up a first down. Caleb wears number 39, and on the spotter board, wrote down just for our sideline guy, Kent Johnson. That's what his favorite receiver this year because Caleb is from Fort Worth, Southwest.
Well, there you go. Little home cooking for Kent Johnson, but nice reception and nice run after the catch.
Last week against UTPB, 2 catches. One of those that set up a touchdown for Olesen. They'll throw again. Gerber has a man open, but he overshot Olesen that time. And actually, he and Markel Stevens-Peppers were headed to the same direction, and they kind of run into each other.
Yeah, and that's why Olesen really let the ball go, because as they were going together, then he looks and sees that they're going to make contact, and so he kind of pulls up a little bit, and that's where the football sailed out of his finger grasp.
That was Markel Stevens-Peppers.
Personal foul,
quickly
roughing the passer.
Look at him
Defense,
to make sure he's okay.
number 92, half the distance to the goal.
Ohio, the leading
first down
so far this season.
Timeout for injury.
3 touchdowns. And so they're going to take a timeout. We will step aside for the injury timeout. Come back, no score, 10 minutes and 10 seconds to play. First quarter here at Buffalo Stadium, West Texas A&M and Western New Mexico. We're back after this quick timeout here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
A smile is understood in any language. It represents joy, love, and shows you care. At Full Smile Dental, our mission is to build lifelong relationships one smile at a time by providing accessible, compassionate, quality care with the personal touch of friendship. Come see us at Full Smile Dental, located in Canyon, Amarillo, Dumas, and Dalhart, and ask us about our free Whitening for Life program.
Well, welcome back to Buffalo Stadium. A personal foul penalty was assessed while we were away against Western New Mexico as well. One of their defensive linemen came up and made a hit on the quarterback, and so it cost them 15 yards. 1st and 10 for the Buffalo. It's 1st and goal to go, I should say.
All right, and they tried Khalil Harris, but I tell you what, the linebackers were ready for it that time for Western New Mexico. They read that play perfectly. Caleb Gutierrez shoots through along with some help from number 40, Isaiah Webb. Gutierrez, he's only 185 pounds, a junior from El Paso, but last week he had 9 tackles and a sack.
Another in on that tackle was Jensen Misa Alofuea, who, again, has been with Western for a while, and so one of those guys, and there's movement. And so this is going to be interesting because it was Parker Hanna on the left side that moved, but not until they kind of jumped across. So let's see. This could be encroachment against Western New Mexico. Officials are talking it over. Yeah, and they're still trying to figure it out.
Offside. Defense, number 55. Half the distance. 2nd down.
And so Parker Hanna reacted after the fact, but again, he saw somebody jump in the neutral zone, so then he moved, and that's where that 5-yard penalty came about. So it moves it up 1st and goal to go at the 6-yard line.
And they had the big tight end Jeremy Carnbay, who had a touchdown last week. They had him split out, and that was maybe a mismatch against a smaller defensive back. Gerber will roll to his right, waiting for receiver, slings this into the end zone. It's caught, touchdown, Buffaloes. Caleb Olesen in the back, and so the freshman continues to impress. That play was set up beautifully as 2 receivers came inside. Olesen ran to the corner, and Gerber put it right on the money.
Yeah, that's just an up-and-out pattern. Basically, Kalen goes straight up and then just follows the back end of the end zone to his right, and just a perfect pass from Nick Gerber for the 6 points.
So Gage Urias will come on and attempt the extra point. Try to make it 7-0. The snap was high, but the hold is down, and so it's now on the season 12 out of 12 for Gage Urias on the extra points, and the Buffs take advantage of a special teams miscue that Western New Mexico had, and they lead 7-0, 9:23 to play here in the first quarter. We'll take a timeout, come back with the kickoff here from Buffalo Stadium right after this.
Deep in the heart of Texas, the prairie lies
Bud Light, proudly brewed
in the heart of Texas.
Well, welcome back to Buffalo Stadium. And again, nice drive by the Buffaloes as they go on a 4-play drive. It covers 29 yards and they get in the back of the end zone. Kent Johnson's down on the field. Kent, you got a chance to see how that one developed. Go ahead.
Well, it was a nice rollout on the touchdown. You know, the Buffs have played 2 home games. They've scored first in each of them. They've gone on the road and they didn't score first. I'll also add a little injury update. Markel Stevens-Peppers, the outstanding wide receiver for the Buffs that got roughed up in the end zone. They think right now he landed on a shoulder that's been injured before. They're treating it as a stinger right now. We'll keep an eye on it. If it's worse, we'll report as we go on. Let's go back upstairs for the kick. Bryce?
All right, Ken, thanks very much. And again, yeah, that's one of those guys that we do want to keep an eye on because he is an important receiver for the Buffaloes. And so, again, as Ken talked about, a shoulder injury that was tweaked earlier and probably just fell wrong on it. And so they're going to watch him and reevaluate from there.
Again, back to receive this kickoff, David Tellis and also Josh Powell. And the kick from Gonzalez. Again, they kick it to Tellis. 2 yards into the end zone, he'll bring it out. And again, nothing going. The Buff special teams race down the field and do a nice job. It's stopped right at the 10-yard line. You sprint down the field, and that time, number 24, Carson Otworth, a freshman out of Round Rock. That's what, you get your opportunity, Bryce, sometimes as a freshman on special teams, and that's what it's about. You avoid the block, get down the field, and make a play.
It really is. And again, he, as you just described it, he avoided the block, then he had an open lane, and so he's headed straight for the return man. He sees it, and he just hits the turf because he doesn't want to get lit up. And so great play that time by the freshman, Carson Otworth.
All right, Devin Larson again. The transfer out of Garden City Junior College last season, originally signed to Iowa State. He comes on the field to lead the Mustangs. The referees blow the whistle.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So they have moved the football, Bryce, on that first drive, but these plays like this, I mean, the penalty and the drop punt and those kind of things.
Disrupts the rhythm. You're trying to get an offensive set. You're trying to get together in rhythm, and it just really, especially now they've got 95 yards, they got to go.
Low snap. They get it to Coleman, though, on the handoff, and he doesn't go very far. That's a nice job on the outside for the Buffaloes. Actually, it was the inside linebacker, J.T. Cavender, that came in and got his hands on the running back.
That's what you want to see. You want the front three to engage the offensive line where the linebackers can rotate and flow and find where the holes are, and they can fill those holes.
Cavender and Hoffer-Richter at the inside linebacker spots. We got a timeout taken by Western New Mexico, so we'll step aside.
Timeout.
We'll be back.
Western New Mexico.
Western New Mexico.
Their first of the half.
To get their offense going. They trail 7-0, 8:53 to play here in the first quarter. Back after this timeout on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
It's got the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of, and now it's here. First Financial Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly, local approval. It's service that just comes naturally to us, much like a love of tradition comes naturally to you. First Financial Bank, you first. Member FDIC.
Buffalo Stadium, the Buffs lead this one 7-0 on a Gerber Caleb Olson touchdown, and now the defense has Western New Mexico backed up as they have a second down, and they're at the 6-yard line.
The stats are misleading. WT only has 15 total yards. They have -3 rushing yards, and they lead 7-0. They'll roll the quarterback out. Larson, eyes downfield. Nobody's open. Now he just has to throw it away. And, again, that's a great job by the WT secondary in coverage. And so far, Bryce, we have not seen Tobias Harris.
No, and I think it's one of those where they'll probably try to get him some game time. They want to get him in there, but they don't want to overdo it. And I'm going to say credit the linebacker on that one, Cole Ulster, once again, because he was playing back, saw the quarterback roll out, and so then he makes a beeline toward the quarterback to force him to throw that one away.
Yeah, so far, Ibrahim Kanate and Jacoby Sheffield doing a very good job from the corner spots. And just as I say that, there's number 3 in for the Buffs on the nickel package here. Larson will look to throw, rolls to the left. He'll sling this ball down the field, incomplete.
And again, it won't show up on a stat sheet, but as you're looking at number 3, Tobias Harris, he fills a void. He starts to come up to the quarterback, and then he drops back. That's why he threw it high, because he knew how to get it over Tobias in order to make a completion, and it went out of bounds.
Well, he is an All-American.
He is.
And
you do. I mean, the teams know that, and so they've got to respect the way he plays, and so that was just a great example of that.
Okay, just one punter back here for Western New Mexico this time. It's Thomas Webb Jr., who's a safety.
Almost blocked.
He's going to – Western is returning that football. I think that hit a Western player, not a WT player. They are pointing like they've got the ball.
It hit a Western player.
We need a replay on this one for sure.
Well, this official is saying it hit a WT.
No. For the Buffs, that'd be a bad break, but if you're Western New Mexico, it's a great recovery and a smart play that just happened bang, bang so fast that it's hard to tell. It was hard to tell. Here's a look at it on the replay. You're right, they almost blocked it. This ball, did it hit 21?
Maybe
did it hit Jacoby Sheffield?
Yeah, so maybe that's who it did. And he was just up blocking. That's all he was doing.
Oh.
And it hit him from behind and hit the back of his foot.
So, Western New Mexico.
Big benefit here.
We've seen each team have a special teams mistake. And the Mustangs get the offense right back out on the field. Larson sits in the pocket, throws complete to Powell, who spins out of tackles. And then coming up, Ibrahim Kanate will finish it up after a short 3-yard gain for Josh Powell.
It looked good from the get-go, but then that secondary, that second level, was able to converge on the football and just knocked him back for, like you said, just 3 yards.
Terrence Clark gets into the lineup for the Buffaloes at linebacker. He's a 6-foot, 200-pound freshman out of Dallas. On second down and long for Western New Mexico, Larson fakes to the running back, and it's broken up. And guess who made that play?
Oh, my land. That's going to get the crowd going, and it was one of those you feast or famine type thing, and by that I just mean that Tobias got there and knocked it away.
Well, Tobias wanted to take it to the house. That's what he wanted to do.
Had he not, as you can see right here, had he not done that, then there was some open field for the receiver to run. But again, that shows you the All-American. Tobias comes up and knocks the ball away.
Well, and Rankin, earlier in the game, Vincent Rankin had a great block. He was trying to block Tobias there, but Tobias got around him. We got another whistle and a false start they're going to call against the Mustangs. So they had a 3rd and 7. Now it's going to become 3rd down and 12. Coach Vigil is frustrated. He's wondering
who was it on, but the official is pointing to the center.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty.
That's the
3rd down.
That's Hunter
not,
Slagle.
Yeah, it's not the center. And so but the way the official was pointing, it looked like he moved the football.
So now on 3rd down and 12, we'll see if the Buffaloes bring some pressure. They've got 4 defensive linemen in right now. It's a different look, obviously, defensively for the Buffs. The 2 safeties and 3 defensive backs in. So they're expecting pass, obviously, here on 3rd down and 12. Larson will step up in the pocket, pressure in his face, throws, and it's caught, but out of bounds. Good coverage down there for the Buffs from the safety spot with Michael Enozi.
I tell you what, too, good pressure applied, too, on that by one of the secondary guys that came up and kind of was baiting the quarterback to take off on the run. And once he did, he fought off a block, came around, and forced him to throw it earlier than he probably wanted to. We're going to go with a 2-punt formation once again.
Well, this is interesting because the punter that's listed is Nicholas Herber, and Not sure what the story is there with him. He has a long this season of 62-yard punt, but we have not seen him. He's number 31. We've seen several different players. Thomas Webb Jr., and he puts a good leg into this punt. Marshall has to make the fair catch and does across the 20-yard line. That's a great defensive stand there for WT, though, after giving up a play like they did.
Right.
And Western getting the ball near midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. Western had a great advantage on that one as they were able to, get great field position, just couldn't take advantage, and credit the Buffs defense on that.
All right, we'll take a timeout, come back with the Buffaloes having the football 7-0 lead, 8:23 to play, first quarter. We're back after these messages.
This is what a new heart valve looks like. This is what a bypassed artery looks like. And this is what a repaired aortic aneurysm looks like. The BSA Heart and Vascular Team is here to help you live life to the fullest. From our state-of-the-art cardiac technologies to our dedicated heart specialists, our goal is to help you take the very best care of your heart so you can enjoy everything else that matters to you. BSA for life.
We are Carpet Tech, and we are family. More than carpet cleaners, we're a team. Diving right in, not afraid to invest in our work and each other. We're killing it day in and day out, never shrinking from a challenge. Our people are 1 part passion, 1 part grit, and about a zillion parts awesome. And we are always looking to add to our family. So what are you waiting for?
Well, welcome back to Buffalo Stadium as the Buff offense getting their final instructions, gets set to make their way out there as well. Lucas, when you look at the stats, it's misleading because, Western New Mexico leads WT with 33 total yards compared to the Buffs 15. But on the scoreboard, the Buffs in front 7-0.
Yeah, just that one possession offensively for WT, and they got it obviously with great field position. Right now they will start from their own 21-yard line on first down. They want to get that run game going with Harris, and he doesn't find that crease he was looking for, and that's because of a good push up front defensively from Western New Mexico.
Yeah, great open field tackle that time by Jordan McBride. Defensive lineman just fought off his block and then was able to step into the run lane and wrapped him up for really no gain for Khalil.
So second down for the Buffaloes. They'll stay on the ground. Harris finds that crease that he was looking for as he cuts up inside and gets yardage to the 25-yard line. One of the linemen for Western New Mexico, you see big number 99 right there. He's 6'3", 350 pounds. Out of Carson, California, Jensen Misa Alafua from UTEP, a transfer from UTEP. And here's what Coach Vigil said. He said he eats up 2 gaps. He said, I'm sure he eats a lot of food as well. But
yes.
What that means is he's going to take on blockers.
Yeah, he's going to take on 2 guys, basically. And so that's the goal, is to take on 2 linemen.
Talented defensive linemen. And this defense, they like to bring a lot of pressure. 9 sacks against Adams State, 12 sacks on the season. This pass, what a throw and a good catch, keeping his feet in bounds. That's complete on the outside to Noah Bagardis. That is a hard throw to make from one side of the field to the other.
It really is. And so what Nick Gerber saw was he saw the defensive line shift to the far side of the field, and so that opened up the near side, and so that's where he was able to find Nick out in the flat for that first down.
Bagardis with a nice catch last week, held to 3 catches and 41 yards at UTPB. They fake it to Harris, go across the middle, and it's caught. That's a big first down. The slant route from Hunter Kaufman.
Well, there's a late flag that came in there too. That may be a face mask on the tackle. That's what the official is talking to the referee about. So we'll see if it was a personal foul or maybe just a holding penalty that he went ahead and threw the flag on anyway.
Personal foul, face mask, defense,
face mask.
number 32, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Kaufman getting involved, so it's good pass plays back to back. And Hunter Hughes, I asked him, I said, which position group do you want to see step up this week? And he said, no question, wide receivers. He said, last week we had a hard time getting open.
Well, yeah, and that's going to be a big key. But, you look at the wide receivers and you look at the secondary on the other side of the ball. They have to play a better game today. That penalty, by the way, on Jimmy and Jones And he couldn't believe it, but nevertheless, that's what the official called.
1st and 10 Buffs on the Western 31-yard line. They're bringing pressure. Linebackers come. Single coverage. Kaufman down the field, and it's overthrown. He had a step on his man down the sideline, but Gerber put a little too much on it, and that's the right play. It's the right read. If they blitz the house, you throw it outside.
Absolutely perfect. And, again, it's just one of those a little too much oomph on the pass that time because Nick had him, was just on that timing route. He was just trying to time it up perfectly and then threw it to the back of the end zone.
Okay, here's this set that we saw earlier. Look at Carnbay to the bottom of your screen there because Jeremy is 6'4", 240 pounds.
Yep. The tight end moves out far wide.
They'll hand it to Brandon.
No, it's a quarterback keep.
It is. Yeah, Gerber. They faked it. They went with the fake to Blair, and then Gerber kept it over the right side.
That may be an RPO kind of a thing, too, where he looks and takes a read on what the defense is giving them. And so he never looked to the near side where Carnbay was. And so he faked the handoff and then just took off on his own because he saw that the open space was on to the right of him, and he was able to get there and pick up a nice gain.
Love Brandon Blair, number 5, the junior running back from Spring, Texas. I always talk about Brandon. He's a trivia question answer because he was the last player to score a touchdown out at Kimbrough Memorial Stadium.
Right. Had a big ball game that day, as a matter of fact.
3rd down. Buffs need to pick up this 1st down. Gerber throws, and it's a great catch. Short of the 1st down. That one was a little off the mark from Gerber, but it was a catch made by Tipton. It's 4th down and short, and no hesitation.
Bring in the max package, yeah, absolutely. So Max Perez comes in. I mean, the heavy package is what we like to call it, but basically got Jordan Johnson in as quarterback.
Oh, here we go.
One, so
going back to his old days here. Johnson takes it, goes across the left side, and he's trying to get that 1st down. This is going to be very close. He needed to get.
Hunter Hughes is saying he got it on the near sideline.
Western sprinting off like they made the stop. Initially, it looked like a good run, Bryce, but
I don't know that he got a great spot on that one. And so if you look at the far sideline, he's
for measurement.
He's about a half a yard short.
Yeah, you're right. The stick, the marker's at the 21-yard line. It looks like that ball is in between the 22 and the 21. So this could be a huge stop here for Western New Mexico. It's not too often that somebody stops Jordan Johnson on 4th and short.
And it was one of those, I don't know that he got the snap when he initially wanted it. It looked like it was delayed maybe an extra second, and so he was unable to get it and go off the left side is where he wanted to go. And I think this is going to be, like I said, about a half yard short, and yep, that's what it's going to be, about a half yard short.
Good look at it on the replay.
Yeah, he just couldn't get that push that he wanted. And so, credit, it looked like in particular credit number 46, Cervantes Reed, who comes up and makes the stop and prevents him from getting the 1st down.
That was a big collision there. That was Jordan Johnson bringing 250 pounds to the table, and Cervantes Reed bringing 255 pounds.
Yeah. So, but you kind of like it. I mean, deep into the territory, you see Hunter right there on the sideline. And
I don't think you like the spot.
Well, I don't think you like the spot either. But nevertheless, come out with a jumbo package and see what you can do, see if you can get it. And in that particular case, they did not.
So the score stays 7-0 West Texas A&M. And the Western New Mexico defense does its job. And Devin Larson gets the ball back. He's going to fake it to the running back, set his feet and throw, and it's a great catch.
There's a late flag.
Rankin makes the catch. As it stands, it's an 11-yard gain and a 1st down for Western, but this is interesting, that penalty marker back at the 21.
Well, and this is where you'd like to have a little instant replay because it looked like the catch on that particular one from Rankin might have been trapped.
An eligible man downfield. Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty.
Slot, apparently.
Replay 1st down.
Is one that officials are kind of keeping an eye on as well as we look at the replay. And you can see right here way down the
57.
field is 57. And so that's why that's Phil Tito, their left tackle. And so Phil's guilty of that. He was just looking for a guy to block. He had to go up the field to find him. And so that's why that penalty came about. And I still think, I mean, it's for naught. But I thought that Rankin had trapped it and didn't have his hands completely underneath that time. Here's the snap.
Yeah, they're going to hand it off to Coleman and try the right side. Good job defensively, the Buffs. we're ready for that. Terrence Clark, the linebacker, first one through, and they need that play again with Chris Thomas out tonight. The linebackers, Hoffer Richter, now Terrence Clark getting in on the action.
The corner on that, too, Ibrahim Kanate, was right there to help mop up as well defensively. So nice push defensively by the Buffaloes.
Another player out there, and it's a good sign, Bryce, is number 50 defensive end right now is Victor Smith. Had a good freshman season last year. This is a pass that's thrown across the middle. Tobias Harris in coverage. And I think he's a little excited to be back out at Buffalo Stadium.
He had his hand straight in the air and like he was going to tip it away or put his hand in the vision of the receiver, and it was well over his head anyway.
I don't know who was more excited about Tobias playing tonight, Tobias or our guy Alex Kipfer.
Yes.
Because Alex came up here and talked to us before the game, and Alex and I, we are two proud members of the Tobias Harris fan club.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
3rd down and 15 for Western New Mexico. Larson in the gun. Going to look downfield and throw it complete, well short of the first down. Good catch.
Well, that's going to be interesting, too, because the official lost his hat on that one, and so that usually means that the receiver stepped out of bounds, but he's saying go ahead and wind it. As Kent Johnson actually hands him back his hat, and so
yeah, that was Corbin Gibson, and so he must have not been the guy. Here's the replay, as Gibson did stay in bounds, but somebody down the field maybe had stepped out. Regardless, right. It's 4th down, and again we'll see Western in the interesting punt formation. And right now, both teams, special teams wise, need to quit making mistakes. Webb Jr. kicks it away. Marshall back to return. Just watches it bounce, and it takes a good WT bounce to midfield before it's down, and that's where West Texas A&M will have the football again, still leading 7-0 with 2:27 still to play. It's been a long first quarter.
It really has, and again, it's been not pretty football. Again, the Buffaloes have a 7-0 lead, but they really haven't been able to get their offense on track, and it seems like the Western New Mexico offense has been out there way longer, which obviously, that seems would dictate that there's, they have something going, but they haven't been able to get anything going either offensively.
Sustained drives. That's what both head coaches would like to see at this point. Nick Gerber will come out on 1st down as Jordan Johnson goes in motion. It's Harris on the carry, and he's able to get across the right side for, again, a short gain. The Buffs obviously want to establish the run game, but Western New Mexico knows that, and they're making it hard to run. Right now, WT offensively on the ground, averaging, well, now that helped a little bit, but not much. 1.3 yards before that carry, Bryce.
Right. And so, again, trying to establish it, but they haven't been able to get any good runs yet that they like.
Good push. Caleb Gutierrez on the stop. And Gerber's pass thrown too high for Hunter Kaufman to bring in, and it sets up 3rd down and 7 quickly.
And that was really good in the secondary coming up to help out on that one as well, because right there was Brandon Jackson, and he was with him step for step. And so maybe Nick saw that, and he just threw it away. On the last run play, by the way, just want to throw real quick, Jordan Johnson was the man in motion, and he had the lead block to open up a little bit of a sleeve for Harris to run through, but again, was only for 3 yards.
Yeah, some good corners for Western. One of them is Brandon Jackson. The other one, Jaimin Jones, 6'1", 195-pound sophomore. Here's Gerber, steps up in the pocket, has a man open. It's Tipton, and he is leveled at the end of that play, but number 19, most importantly, holds on to the football. 1st down, Buffs.
Well, and again, that's just a great open field hit that time by DeLeon I'm not even going to try Fumania, as they're off running on the next play, and it's going to be Harris, who they don't wait. He barely got back to the line of scrimmage.
We'll go with Fui Mayano.
Yeah, Fui Mayano, that's what we'll.
And Bryce, he's a big freshman, 5'11", 212 pounds out of Long Beach, California, a transfer from San Diego State.
And he's playing back as a safety and came up and really leveled on that play. But again, Buffs didn't get anything as they tried to get the running game going.
You like that Troy Polamalu hair that he's got.
Yes.
2nd down and 10 for Gerber. Under a minute to play. Pressure coming. They get it out to Harris. He's at the 30. Harris runs over a defender and is taken down, and another penalty, a late one, comes flying in. This could go against the Mustangs again. And if it is, is it a 15-yarder?
I tell you what, though, it was one of the defensive backs who was asking for the penalty.
Oh.
And so I think he felt like maybe that Harris put his hand on his face mask, and so that's what he's wanting. He's wanting a face mask called.
Oh, goodness.
And that's what
It
Western is showing. Yeah, they're showing that it's going to be against Harris. He does pick up.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference. The ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage.
Okay, so the explanation there is they pick up the flag because the ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage.
The Buffs were confused. They were walking backwards.
Yeah.
It's first down, guys.
Well, and again, they heard the officials talking and what they were going to call, and so it looked like they were going to call offensive pass interference. Hunter's still arguing with the head linesman on the near side.
1st and 10 for WT from the Western 22-yard line. Clock running. Now down to 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Blair's in at running back, and you see Western start to bring the linebackers up. Gerber maybe changing the play call. Pressure still coming for Western. Gerber throws off his back foot, and nobody's there for that one. And this is something that WT offensively with the offensive coordinator Russ Martin, they're going to have to adjust to, Bryce, because I'm telling you, Western New Mexico defensively with their defensive coordinator, Junior Tanavasa, they call him Coach June. He's going to bring pressure the entire game. He was at Colorado last year as an assistant, longtime defensive coordinator at Mount San Antonio College in California. He's got 3 national championships on his resume.
Oh, wow. And so, again, yes, trying to bring the pressure. That's what he's been doing so far tonight. And so the Buffs are trying to adapt to it, but still have not made a good connection.
2nd down and 10. This time they go with Blair. Brandon runs through a tackler. Brandon Blair down the sideline. Touchdown, Buffaloes.
And that's just a great block that Brandon was able to slide through. Then he got to the outside and turned on the extra speed and got into the end zone. As you're talking about the pressure, they came up with pressure. There wasn't anybody there. And so he broke that one tackle, and then there wasn't anybody there left to gobble him up, and he was able to get in the end zone. Nice run by Brandon Blair.
So that extends the Buffs' lead to double digits. They'll try to make it 14-0. The extra point coming here from Urias. He knocks it through, and so the Buffs, with just 8 seconds left in the first quarter, lead 14-0. Brandon Blair gets into the end zone. We'll take the timeout, come back with the kickoff. You're watching West Texas A&M and Western New Mexico right here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
When you choose natural gas, chocolate chip cookies get a little tastier. Homes get a little cozier. Bank accounts tend to put on some weight. Towels get fluffier. Showers stay hotter for longer. And our blue planet gets a...
All right, here we go. The kickoff for WT. Again, Tellis will this time just call for the fair catch. Buffaloes with the 14-0 lead. And now, Bryce, those total yard statistics starting to look a little better. Buffs with 106 yards of total offense.
Well, again, a nice 22-yard run by Brandon Blair. It capped off a 7-play, 50-yard drive. Again, Blair goes up kind of goes on the right a little bit, then sprints to the outside along the far sideline and just got beyond the secondary and got in easily for the score. And again, Buffs lead this one 14-0.
So we'll see again here. Devin Larson, Western New Mexico, has had some good plays, but hasn't been able to get a drive going far enough to get into scoring range. That's a good pass completion on the outside, and it'll go for a first down. Kenny Allen, again, another transfer, one of the 20 transfers on this team for this season. He's out of Lamar University, originally from Los Angeles, California.
That's the end of the first quarter.
It's a first down, and that catch takes us to the second quarter. So we'll step aside for some messages, come back. West Texas A&M leads 14-0 over Western New Mexico. We're back after this.
WT student athletes drink low-fat chocolate milk post-workout because it helps replenish and restore muscles quickly to their peak potential. Scientific studies suggest that the immediate benefits of low-fat chocolate milk include boosted performance, improved training, and higher recovery rates in athletes. Add low-fat chocolate milk to your post-workout routine.
Go Bucks! This is what a new heart valve looks like. This is what a bypassed artery looks like. And this is what a repaired aortic aneurysm looks like. The BSA Heart and Vascular Team is here to help you live life to the fullest. From our state-of-the-art cardiac technologies to our dedicated heart specialists, our goal is to help you take the very best care of your heart so you can enjoy everything else that matters to you. BSA for life.
Buffalo Stadium, where the Buffs lead this one after the first quarter play, which Ken Johnson texted up and said, "It seems like it's a long quarter," and it is a long quarter. And right now, I see Hunter Hughes is trying to getting the referee's attention as they are out at the 50, and they were way out in the field. By the way, the Buffaloes 106 total yards so far, 31 of those rushing, 52 for Western New Mexico, only 3 in the rushing category. And so, again, both teams relying on the air to take things up the field. Devin Larson, 7 of 13 for 49 yards in that first quarter.
Bryce Coleman at running back. They're going to fake it to him, though. They like the passing game. Larson heaves this ball, has a receiver open, and it is a catch. Down inside the 20-yard line. That's a great ball. The receiver was open the entire way. And so that's Alan Ortiz with the catch, and they're in the red zone. Perfect pass as well.
Tobias and Gage Smith are having a conversation as to who was to rotate over, and because Tobias was beat on the play. And so Gage didn't see it as he comes out. And a little upset on the near sideline after that pass was completed.
Good start second quarter here for Western. Quick throw out to Coleman, and he makes the catch. Tobias Harris comes up and is able to make the quick stop. But for Western, you have to wonder if they feel like with Larson slinging the football around back there, they're going to maybe just try to go to the air because we haven't seen them run the football effectively yet.
No, they haven't run the football effectively. And go back to what you talked about in the pregame today, the Buffalo secondary was kind of suspect after last week's game.
Second down and long. Larson throws again on the outside, incomplete. And the receiver ran one route. Ball was already thrown and no chance.
They were not on the same page, and they're having a quick conversation that he expected the receiver to break to the outside. The receiver turned to the inside, and so that pass was behind him. Again, those are some of the little things when you have a lot of new players that just aren't in sync as of yet.
Buffs, look at the wholesale substitutions here. 5 different players, 6 players will come on the field. You got to make sure you only have 11 here, fellas. And they do. Larson on third down. Nobody open. He's going to roll. He can run it. And he will be chased out of bounds. Good speed from the back end there for WT. Was that Michael Smith again?
Yes. And again, he was able to get over there and just put pressure on the quarterback. And so Michael Smith able to run him out of bounds. And so that'll bring up fourth down and a field goal attempt for Western New Mexico to get on the scoreboard.
And it will be to attempt the field goal, number 22. The running back, James Hoban. It's a good leg on this ball, but he pushes it left. And so again, and I say that James is the second running back.
Right.
And with the punting unit, so obviously they are missing Nicholas Herber, who is double duty. He's the kicker and the punter. And so this is interesting. You wonder if they had some time to prepare for this.
Well, and that's the thing. We're talking about Thomas Webb has been the punter tonight. He's a defensive back.
Yep.
And as you just talked about, James Hoban is the running back, and he's in there trying. And so sometimes that happens. You know, you lose a special team player like that. In this case, it's both the punter and the kicker. And you next man up, basically, who do you have in reserve?
That's where the coaches are like, all right, who kicked in high school?
Exactly.
3 receivers to the near side. They're going to get it out to Olison, but whistles, penalty markers, and a false start will be called.
False start, offense. Number 14 never got set. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And so in that particular case, that's the tight end, Max Perez, who they said was in motion but never got set. And so that's why they called the penalty. He lines up as a tight end on the far side of the field next to Parker Hanna.
So it's now 1st and 15 for the Buffs. Western doesn't bring pressure this time, and Khalil Harris runs for a 3-yard gain, and then he runs no more because he runs into number 99, Misa Alafua. You got to run around number 99, Bryce. You can't try to run over a 6'3", 350-pound defensive lineman.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I wouldn't recommend it.
And he wrapped him up, and then he was trying to do everything he could to take him out of his cleats as he wrestled him down to the turf.
So on 2nd down and long, Gerber going to air it down the sideline. Bogardus in stride at the 30, at the 20. Noah Bogardus, good night as he dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Buffaloes.
Well, and what a nice strike that time. And again, Bogardus got up beyond the secondary. And so then it just becomes a pitch and catch. And as the quarterback, you want to put enough air, but not too much air under it. And he did it perfectly. And Nick was able to catch that, as you described it, in stride, as we see the replay here. Again, just enough air for him to catch it in stride. He does. And then it's off to the races as the defensive back trying to give pursuit. But
82 yards.
Bogardus able to get in the end zone
on that one, and that there's no better feeling as a wide receiver from just catching it in stride. The extra point, a little wobbly, but it's through. So Gage Urias does his job. Bogardus with a big reception down the sideline. And a perfect strike from Nick Gerber. Buffs lead 21-0, 13:09 to play, second quarter action. We'll take a timeout, come back with a kickoff. You're watching Buffalo football on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
How do you make something that's already fresh even fresher? By adding fresh new things, like crisp pico de gallo for a little kick, and creamy cilantro lime sauce for that extra whoa. And pepper jack cheese because, of course, all on top of 2 fresh beef patties, or with chicken on a brioche bun. Whataburger's limited time Pico de Gallo burger and new Pico de Gallo chicken sandwiches. Good thing for fresh things. Good thing there's Whataburger.
Stadium as the Buffaloes on a 2-play drive, capping off with an 80-yard completion according to the official stats, and that is to Noah Bogardus, who from Nick Gerber able to take that one in for the score. And the extra point, the Buffaloes with 13:09 left to play here in the first half, lead 21-0. And there is a look at the crowd that has assembled here at Buffalo Stadium.
They're enjoying this one. Great. As you look across the field, you can see there the student section. They have come out tonight, and it's early. There's a lot of football to be played, but there you go. Have some fun out there. WT Maroon Platoon. Look at the fat head from Hunter Hughes. That was nice as well. But this is what we wanted to see for WT is a response. See them get back on the winning side of things, and right now, so far with 13:09 to play, they are doing that.
Well, again, they are as we get set for this kickoff. After the kickoff, we'll head down to the sideline as Kent Johnson is standing by, and so we await the kickoff. Here we go.
Mauricio Gonzalez, he's been doing the kickoff duty. Urias has been the extra point man. This is David Tellis. He's got some speed at the 20. Tellis down to the 35-yard line, cuts back. Tellis has a chance on this one. He's got one man to beat. He's at the 30-yard line, still waiting for a block down the side at the 10 and out of bounds. What a kick return for David Tellis. So that'll give the Mustangs some momentum.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to set them up fantastically. Let's head down the sideline quickly as Kent Johnson is standing by. Kent.
Yeah, guys, you know, you've always talked about Noah Bogardus, the transfer from Azusa Pacific. You always hate to see when a university drops the football program, which Azusa did. We used to love our trips to southern L.A. to visit when we played out at Azusa Pacific, but it's great to have him on our side now. He had 2 steps on the cornerback, Brandon Jackson, but give credit to the Buffs O-line. No pressure whatsoever on Nick Gerber. Now we got to see if the Buffs defense can ratchet it down here. Mustangs start inside the 10, back upstairs.
Okay, so Mustangs in business here from the 8-yard line. Plenty of time to throw, complete to Coleman, and then he's dumped by J.T. Cavender, but that was really good protection from that offensive line. Philip Tito, Hunter Slagle, Isli Moana, the center, Trey Keel, and Joseph Ciatini from Anchorage, Alaska. I'm telling you, Western has guys from
everywhere.
Yeah, about 20 different states.
Yeah, everywhere. And so again, that's what they're trying to do, get them to gel a little bit. But that they're kind of abandoning the running game, but they're going to go with the running backs out of the backfield.
2nd and goal from the 5. This time Coleman takes it, makes one defender miss. A penalty marker comes flying in. He's into the end zone for a touchdown. But from the direction that was thrown, that could be holding against the visiting team.
That's what they show as a holding penalty. So we'll see as Western New Mexico starts to walk backwards. And
that's unfortunate for Coleman, too, because that was a nice run.
Holding. Offense. Number 58. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's on the center, Isli Moana. And again, that takes points off the board. And so that'll move them back as they will mark this one off.
And we hear the Maroon Platoon giving Cale Steed's favorite cheer. You can't do that.
So that moves them back to the 13-yard line. And so
this is frustrating here for Philip Vigil because, again, his team down 21-0, but they get a great return. He's thinking, let's respond. Let's get back in this thing. And now they're 2nd and goal from the 13-yard line. Larson fakes it, keeps it himself, has a blocker in front, and is able to get past the 10, maybe to the 7-yard line. Nice run. Buffs kind of string the play out.
It kind of depends on whose spot you go with, because one official has the 7, one had it at the 8. It looked like he was at the 9, so we'll see where they mark this football. At the 8-yard line. On the 8-yard line. 3 wideouts to the far side. Let's see if it's going to be rolling out to that near far side of the field.
This is a big play because, again, Western is without their kicker. Larson in trouble. Scrambles to the left, looking, trying to find anyone.
He stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, he did. He was pushed out of bounds, being chased by Victor Smith and Dylan Mata, but that was plenty of time to throw.
It was. He could have threw it to the back of the end zone. Instead, he wasn't sure whether he wanted to run with the football or he wanted to try and find somebody coming across. But he only had, again, he had 3 receivers on the far side of the field. He only had 1 in the pattern on the near side, and that's where he rolled out to. So not a lot of opportunities there for him, and they'll have to settle for another field goal try.
And again, it is James Hoban, who is a 6', 200-pound sophomore out of Parker, Arizona, a running back. It's going to try this field goal, and this one is way off. He just pulls that hard to the left, but to be fair to Hoban again, he's not a kicker.
No, and that's the thing, and it goes back to what you said earlier too, is, you know, who kicked in high school, and Hoban probably said, yeah, I did a little bit, and you know, they had tryouts, they tried some different things, they just can't find the guy that can get it up there. And so and that also comes into play on your play calling, because you got to be close enough for him to even try. You know, you may see them between the 30 and the 40 go for it on 4th downs.
But Western New Mexico now digging themselves a hole, trailing 21-0. And this is interesting for the Buffs. You look at the stats, and it is 157 passing yards for WT, only 34 rushing. So the Buffaloes have really gone to Nick Gerber and the receiving core. That's what's worked so far in this first half.
You have a tight end, double tight end set in this particular set.
On 1st down, Gerber goes to the near sideline, trying to go with Bogardus again, but that time the pass sails out of bounds. Good pressure from Western again, and so you wonder from the routes that the receivers are going to run. You can't just go, obviously, with go routes all night.
Right.
All night long, you maybe bring a receiver underneath. But
well, and you know, that's the thing. Are you working? Is Russ Martin working toward that? Is the way he's calling the game a little bit. That time he only had 2 receivers in the entire pattern. So.
And sometimes that's a hot route as well. Quarterback recognizes and makes the audible. Here's a handoff to Khalil Harris as he's ushered up the field from several blockers, and he runs all the way down to the 35-yard line. That was a good run. It was stretched out. Good blocking from the Buffs. Adam Alcorta out there along with Jacoby Lott.
And one guy that's good to see out there blocking on that particular play was Kel Stevens-Peppers, who comes now to the near side. He got hurt earlier in the first quarter, but he's back out there going after it.
He's a split receiver on the near side. Olesen is the slot receiver. It's 1st and 10 Buffs, and they're going to throw again. Gerber will throw on the run. Is the catch made?
Yeah, nicely done.
Wow, that one.
I was going to talk about it, but I think he got it all the way.
Olesen had to come back and dive.
Oh, they're saying incomplete.
So the side judge, that's interesting.
Man.
The side judge was behind.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
The head linesman made the call. And here's a look at the replay. This was close.
Yeah, you can't tell on the replay because it was behind on that.
One thing I do know, that ball didn't move. I mean, so if it did hit the turf, he definitely trapped it.
Unfortunately for the head linesman, who calls it incomplete. He's right next to Hunter Hughes, and Hunter is not shy about expressing his belief that that was a catch.
So instead of a big 1st down catch, it's 2nd down. They'll go back to the run game with Khalil Harris, and the Herd, the offensive line, just pushing the pile. It's a short gain, about 3 or 4 yards for Khalil. Harris on the evening is now getting closer to that 30-yard range. Brandon Blair, the leading rusher in terms of average, he has 1 carry for 22 yards, and that was a touchdown run.
Might add, too, Parker Hanna now is flipped back to the right side. Alan Alcorta is on the left side. They were the other way around in the first quarter, but now they've flipped sides as far as the right and left tackle are concerned.
So on 3rd down and 6, Gerber will run it. Penalty marker already flies in. Gerber's taken down from behind. Good pursuit defensively.
It looked like a horse collar tackle, too, but this is going to be on Adam Alcorta, who's going to be called for the hold.
Holding. Offense. Number 75. 10-yard penalty.
Had just barely
Replay 3rd
taken
down.
off to the right to scamper, and that penalty marker was thrown.
And I'll change that again. I said that Adam was on the left side. They had flipped back with Parker back on the left side and Adam on the right side. And so that's where the holding came from, the right side of the line that time.
So WT, this drive stalling now after penalties are hurting the Buffaloes. 3rd and 16 for West Texas A&M. They lead by 3 scores, 21-0. 9 minutes and 20 seconds to play before halftime. Gerber chased, in trouble, able to escape one defender. He'll throw it to Blair, and Blair drops that pass. It was good coverage, though, from Western.
And that would have only been for a couple of yards anyway, so it's really better that Blair dropped it because he might have, came up as the ball got there, might have got it knocked loose as well, and so it's better to drop it. And let's punt this one away and see who's punting.
One of the defenders on the stop for Western New Mexico, Braden Speed. That's a great name for a football player, especially a guy in the secondary. He's a freshman out of Sherman, Texas.
Braden Welch is on to punt this one away.
Buffs have struggled a little bit this season with punting. They get a low snap. Welch is able to get it away off the side of his foot. And this is a good punt. And also, Bryce, this could be a personal foul. We see the punter, Welch, limping off. There's a penalty marker right back where he punted it. So this is interesting to see what the official will say here.
I'm going to check with head coach Hunter Hughes, I think. Hunter runs down. The thing I thought, too, is on the punt when it bounced up, I thought it hit a WT player at about the 40.
Here's the call from the referee, Josh Bannerman.
Running into the kicker. Defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So it was running into instead of roughing.
And so what they'll do is add it to the end of where the ball was stopped. And so instead of being at the 35, they should go to the 30, I believe, is what they're going to do.
So it's like there's a flagrant version, and that's the 15-yard kind, and that one was just the nudge of the punter. That takes us to a timeout. Little step aside. Buffs lead 21-0. 9 minutes and change remain here before halftime. We're back after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
The best tailgates start with the best beef, and the best beef starts with Market Street. Market Street, where we do beef the best.
Buffalo Stadium, the Buffs lead this one 21-0, and 210 yards offense to 106 for the Buffaloes. And here we see that punt again. This is where I thought it hit right there, and it went off one of the up men.
All right, so Western on first down throws it out to the Josh Powell, and Powell keeps his feet going.
Sort of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Gains yardage to the 39-yard line. Let's pick up a 4. And if you're Western, this is an important drive here, Bryce. You trail 21-0, but they've marched down the field. They've gotten close several times. They've missed a couple of field goals. If they could just get points before halftime, they'd feel a lot better. This is a handoff to the right side. They have not been able to run much at all tonight.
That's been the hard thing. They just can't get in rhythm. And I would say both teams, I mean, even when you look at WT with 210 yards, it just doesn't feel like the offense is in sync yet. And that's the same thing for Western New Mexico. They're trying to, they also want to run the football, but they just have had no success running tonight.
Third down play here. This is a big one for Western New Mexico. 3rd and 4. Larson will swing it out to Coleman, the running back. Needs to pick up a block. Does. Questionable block there, but he's going to take that ball and have a first down. If you're a Western fan, you say it's a great block. If you're WT, you're thinking
saying it's holding.
Yeah.
Because it looked like Alan Ortiz was throwing the block, and he was throwing on a linebacker, and it looked like he turned him completely around, which indicates usually they got a hold of some shoulder pads.
So much needed first down there for Devin Larson in the Mustang offense, which has now 116 yards of offense. A penalty marker does come in this time. Powell with the catch. He's an impressive receiver, very explosive. The yards after catch there as he gains 11 yards. But Dylan Mata playing official there. Is he making the call for us,
Dylan
Bryce?
is already making the call.
Holding. Offense. Number 77.
He grabbed me.
10-yard penalty.
First down. And he did. And then he was explaining it to the quarterback. This is what happened.
Dylan, you were right, but you wear maroon. You don't wear the zebra stripe, so you got to let those guys make the call.
To make sure that they got the call in, and they did indeed. And so, again, that will bring it back.
This is interesting, Bryce, with head coach Philip Vigil. First year at Western New Mexico, and last year he was at Stephen F. Austin, but he's been all over the place. And his first coaching job, Russ Martin hired him at Colorado Mesa.
Yeah, and so they know each other well, run similar offenses too.
Of course, Russ, the offensive coordinator here at WT. Larson, pump fake, looking for someone. Now he's going to run, being chased from behind, and smartly steps out of bounds as he had Jamarcus Head coming after him in a hurry, the freshman from Waxahachie, and then Eric Collins was on a beat as well.
And if you see number 4 coming at you, my first instinct would be to go down. I really would, or get to the sideline, because I think Eric's a little frustrated because we haven't really called his name tonight.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those where they're running away from him. And so they're obvious, they obviously know what players they want to key on, who they want to stay away from.
So after the holding call, they don't get anything on first down. It's 2nd down and 19 for Western New Mexico. Larson in the pocket, will step up. Again, struggling to find an open receiver. Now he does at the end of the play. Completes the pass to David Tellis. Tellis gains back some good yardage, and now this will set up 3rd down and 8 here for Western New Mexico. Larson does a good job of keeping his eyes down the field.
Yeah, he really does, and so he baited them to come up and go after him that time, and that allowed him to get it to his receiver as he saw Tellis and got it to him for a nice pickup.
We know Tellis has the speed. He's the one that had the kick return and set Western up with good field position. Here's 3rd down. Larson again wants to go to Coleman. Gets it to Coleman, and then Tobias Harris makes the tackle. The question is, did he get the 1st down or not?
So it's going to be short of the 1st down by about 2 yards. They've got to get to the 45, and they mark it at the 47.
I think if I'm Coach Vigil, I go for it here.
And I think he probably will, because he's leaving the offense out there. And again, he wants to show confidence, and he wants them to get a spark. And the official has to wait for them to get all the players out there that they are supposed to. Now timeout by the Buffs. They just didn't have the right personnel out there.
There was some confusion. Xavier Rivera was running on the field and he was running off the field. And so Hunter Hughes says, let's just take a timeout and talk it over. We'll step aside as well. 5:54 to play before halftime. The Buffs lead 21-0 here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Choosing the right countertops for your kitchen can be tricky. Nowadays, there are hundreds of colors, patterns, and textures and materials that range from natural to engineered stone. Marble Depot is here for you throughout every step of the process. And yes, we do have a lot of options that might make that decision a little harder, but we're also going to ask the right questions so that you get the most out of your investment. So come by our showroom and let us help create what you've been dreaming of.
Well, welcome back to Buffalo Stadium, Jake Ford Field, as the Buffaloes called that timeout because they didn't have the right personnel out there, and so now they have them set. Players trying to get the fans involved here on this 4th and 2.
All right, Larson will hand it off. Jet sweep action. They're not going to get it. Eric Collins with the tackle, and initially it was Satchel Escalante that came up, disrupted that play.
Yeah, Satchel played that perfectly because he had a man on him. He threw the block off. Then he was in the running lane, was able to trip up the running back, and so again, and Eric comes and cleans it up. So very nice play defensively by the Buffaloes.
And really not a bad play call for Western New Mexico. You get it to Josh Powell, who is explosive from the receiver position. Just try the jet sweep, but the Buffaloes were ready for it, and WT gets the ball. Excellent field position for West Texas A&M from their own 48-yard line. Gerber wants to go deep again. Hunter Kaufman makes the adjustment and makes the grab. What a catch.
Well, the adjustment is perfectly the way to describe this, because he got totally turned around and somehow got his hands at his waist to pull that football in for a 1st down. As we watch the replay on this one,
this is just incredible ball skills.
It really is. A lot of air underneath, and you can watch him get turned around and comes back and grabs the football.
I think that would have been a catch in the NFL.
Oh,
I think he got 2 feet in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Nicely done on the reception that time for the Buffaloes and Hunter Kaufman.
There's Khalil Harris, runs through one tackler and is taken down at the 4-yard line.
We'll go back a little bit, too, on the freshman. That's one thing that Coach Hughes talked about, how they're going to utilize him because of his speed. He was behind the defender on that and caught up and caught the football, and so that just shows you his closing speed.
Under 5 minutes to play here in the 2nd quarter. West Texas A&M leading 21-0 and trying to add to that lead here. Knocking on the door, 2nd and goal. Gerber comes up to the line, signals to his offensive line. Hand off to Harris. Harris made the first defender miss, ran through the second one, but he's still short as he stopped at the 1-yard line.
That really was all on Khalil Harris because he had a defender that had him back about the 4-yard line, and he just kept moving his feet and was able to fall forward and get it up close to the 1.5. And so that's where it'll be 3rd down and goal from here.
And you're going to see Western New Mexico bring everybody up in the box. See if the Buffs keep it on the ground or if they go play action. It's Khalil, and Harris has stood up. He is not
get there.
And that was a good play defensively, trying to get on the bottom of the pile and see. It was Thomas Webb Jr., the safety, that was the first man in and wrapped up his legs, and he could not get it. There is a penalty.
Illegal formation.
On the far side.
More than 4 in the backfield on the offense. It's declined. Hey, goal. 4th down.
Okay, so Bryce, they had brought in your favorite package, or the jumbo package, but you can only have 4 guys in the backfield, and so somebody wasn't up on the line.
Right, and again, when you bring that package in, as we described, it's one of those where you're using the beef to kind of help push the line.
Timeout.
Everybody was up there.
West Texas.
Okay. Timeout.
They're second of the half.
We'll take one as well. Come back, see if the Buffs can punch this in. 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. We're back with more football from Buffalo Stadium after this timeout.
Welcome to Shimon Dental Group, where every day we're excited to see our patients and treat them like family. We are dedicated to providing you with the highest quality care in a friendly and comfortable environment. Shimon Dental Group's patient-focused philosophy puts your needs front and center.
We are constantly investing in leading-edge technology. Innovations that speed the treatment process and improve aesthetics. We're expanding the breadth of our cosmetic and restorative services through training to provide the best possible outcomes.
Just with the level of commitment that they show to taking care of my family and I, it's absolutely unmatched in this town, so I've been very happy with them.
Brightening smiles for more than 3 decades.
Contact Shimon Dental Group for your appointment today.
All right, WT takes the timeout. 3:52 left to play in the first half, leading 21-0. But the question is, what do you do on 4th and goal to go? And they've decided to keep the offense out there and see what they can do to try to punch this one in.
Yeah, watch for play action and look at Jeremy Carnbay down here. They went to him last week at UT Permian Basin. Maxwell Perez, also Jordan Johnson. I mean, he's got a lot of options.
Well, technically you got 3 tight ends in there.
Just make sure you're lined up correctly here.
Exactly. Officials are checking to make sure everybody's good to go. Is there an extra defensive back in there for... So they're saying something about Western New Mexico, and in particular their safety, Deleon Fuimano, and they're sending him to the sideline for some reason. Usually that means there's something on his jersey or something that has to get wiped off or something along that line.
This is an important play. You want your best players on the field.
Absolutely.
Single coverage on the outside with Markel Stevens-Peppers as well. Gerber's going to throw quickly up in the air. It's incomplete. It was to Maxwell Perez, and Thomas Webb Jr. comes over and breaks up that play. It's a huge stop for the Mustangs. It was the right read. Gerber got rid of it in time.
Yes. It is one of those two. I think both players are excited, and so Nick may have been locked on a little more as we watch here. See, he kind of is locked in on Max Perez, and so the defender is able to react. There was 2 already over there on that overload, and so it's a quick play too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bang bang, and so he was trying to get it there just for his receiver to get underneath. And credit Western New Mexico on the defensive play.
All right, so great play defensively for Western. Now they got to turn around though and start from their own 1-yard line. Larson in his own end zone hands it off, and Coleman is able to escape. He was stopped initially right at the line of scrimmage and just gets a couple.
Yeah, he really was, and it looked like they actually had him at the goal line, but he kept his feet moving and was able to surge forward to get out close to the 3-yard line.
Richter makes the stop for WT. They move quickly, throw it on the outside to Powell, and a good tackle at the end of that one there is made by Anozi. It'll set up a 3rd and short here. 3rd and about 4 yards for Western New Mexico. And this is another big play here. WT still plenty of time if they could get a stop. There's 3 minutes and change remaining.
You did. You got the receivers one-on-one coverage, so man-to-man here on this particular play.
Larson throws. Catch made. What a good grab for a first down, complete to number 24, and that is Alan Ortiz, a true freshman out of Lakewood, Colorado.
And Ortiz does a nice job. He has Bias Harris on him, so he goes up, and then he kind of does a little curl back to the middle. and that's where the quarterback's able to hit him for the first down. And so he knew where the first down marker was, had to get there, turn back, and showed his numbers to the quarterback, and he was able to pull that in.
Larson will keep it and run to the right side. Steps out of bounds, and smart play will stop the clock with 2:32 to play. Western will kind of see how this drive goes. If they get far enough down the field, obviously they're going to try to go score. But right now, Frank Vigil was first of all worried about just getting the ball out of their own end zone.
You want to get out of the shadow of the goalpost, and that's what their big concern was. So, and again, that's why you have that quarterback run out there a little bit too, because he's still trying to get advanced away from the end zone.
A gain of 4 for Larson. 2nd down and 6. Good protection. Open receiver. It's Powell. He's taken down. But no, he's not taken down. JT Cavender is holding on for dear life, and Josh Powell is moving the pile, getting a first down across to the 26-yard line. Again, saying his name a lot. He's a freshman from St. Louis, Missouri, a transfer from Missouri Southern. And he is, he's got great hands. He's fast and he's strong.
Yeah, very strong, and that's the thing. That's why he was able to, he stayed on his feet and was able to push the pile forward.
Larson hit as he throws, completes it to Coleman. Coleman makes a man miss, and Coleman is out of bounds near the 45. They mark him at the 42-yard line.
So a nice drive actually setting up now for Western New Mexico. And again, they've had a couple of these. They just have fallen short on the scoreboard, but they've been able to move the football 146 yards so far in this first half.
Buffs defensively sub a couple of players in. Victor Smith back in. Again, Victor, the freshman out of Garland, Texas, and also Samate is in at defensive line. Larson being chased, and he's going to be sacked by Eric Collins. There you go, Eric.
And he's been waiting for that all night long as the Buffs come on a blitz that time. Right up the middle, so that allowed Eric on the right side, as you can see right here. Here comes the blitz, here comes the pressure, and they just roll to the right into the waiting arms of Eric Collins, who was able to take him down. Nicely done by the Buff defense.
Well, that was Corbin Gibson, number 83. It was his assignment to take on Collins, and Eric Collins won that match. Eric Collins gets a sack, and the Buffs now force a 2nd and 21 under a minute to play. Movement up front. That's going to be maybe offsides.
Yeah, the receiver took off quickly on that one, as he wanted. David tell us he knew the pattern he wanted to run. He just telegraphed it to everybody before the snap of the ball.
So it will be false start. I was looking out on the outside. The Buffs, Eric Goodman was kind of slapping his helmet, saying in frustration, thinking he had jumped off sides.
Well, and I know he did, but I think it's one of those two where you react, you see somebody move, and so you just take off so you can see.
False start. Everybody but the center. 5-yard penalty. It's 2nd down. Since the game clock was running, the foul occurred under 1 minute. There's a 10-second runoff. Please reset the game clock to 49 seconds.
Everyone but the center.
It will start on my signal.
Nicely played, sir.
Okay. Nevertheless, penalty that'll mark it back.
And, you know, I told him before the game, Bryce, I said, we will not talk bad about the officials on the broadcast, sir. And he said, please don't, because my mom will be watching.
Well, we want to say hi to his mom, too, as well.
All right, on 2nd down, it's a handoff over the right side, and that is
James Hoban.
It is. I was going to say the kicker, but it's
that's what I was going to say.
It's the running back. He's also the kicker tonight. But Hoban takes that carry and gains yardage across the 30 to the 31-yard line.
Don't forget, too, the Buffs with 29 seconds of clock running will get the opening kickoff to start the second half as well.
A reminder that coming up, we'll have the Holiday Inn Express halftime show, and Bryce, you're going to have a chance to visit with one of our favorite guests, the new Deputy Athletics Director and Athletics Performance Director, Sarah Ramey. So we're looking forward to that. Larson is looking for an open receiver with a lot of maroon jerseys around him, is able to get it out to Coleman, makes the catch. Coleman is taken down. Good tackle by Gage Smith, and that will end the first half. We will have our interview first with Kent Johnson
at the end of the half.
Hunter Hughes before the Buffs head into the locker room. And Hunter, I think Hunter's going to be happy. Obviously, Bryce, about a 21-0 lead, but it feels like it could be more. Feels like it could be a couple more scores.
Like I said, it really felt like the offense never got in sync on this one today, and so I think that's one of the things they're going to talk about is he gets with Hunter Hughes, and it gets to talk about the first half in this one. As Hunter very slowly makes his way over to Kent Johnson. In fact, Hunter's the very last guy to go off the sideline there. And again, Buffs lead this one by a count of 21-0. And so as head coach Hughes makes his way down to Kent Johnson, let's go ahead and head down to the sideline as Kent Johnson is standing by with the head coach. Kent?
We're down here with head coach Hunter Hughes. Your team heads into the locker room. Defense hasn't allowed a point yet. How do you feel about the way your team came out tonight?
Well, I think that defensively, when they get a big kickoff return, I don't care who you're going at. The ball's inside the 10-yard line. You get a stop. You got to give enough points. First, you want to hold the field goal, and then for them to be able to miss the field goal. Give credit to our defense on that. Give credit to whoever made the tackle on the save a touchdown to get it going. Overall, I like the way we came out. I knew they were going to do some stuff to us on defense, blitzing every gap, and it's going to be tough sledding at first. And we hit some deep passes, and we're trying to hit the big shots when they go man-to-man. Very disappointed in the fact that we've had 2 fourth downs and hadn't converted it. We got to get better at that. We got our schedule ahead. We've got to be able to do that. We got to finish what we're doing tonight, first off. But then we got to do better on those little things and execute those 4th down and shorts.
1 half to go. I know execution and sustaining the intensities, the thought.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have a problem doing that. So.
It's head coach Hunter Hughes. Buffs lead at 21-0. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, Kent, thanks very much. And again, the Buffs do lead this one 21-0 as we get set for our halftime festivities. And of course, coming up in just a little bit as we take a break and come back here, we will talk with Sarah Ramey and this big long title she has, and she'll explain what it all leads to after we take this time out on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
When joints begin to fail, it's more than an inconvenience. The relentless grinding pain slows you down and can even stop you from doing the things you enjoy in life. At Physicians Surgical Hospitals, our skilled orthopedic experts are using advanced robotic surgeries to get you back to being you sooner with a less painful recovery. We're doing more than restoring joints. We're restoring lives.
into the game. This is the passion we're built on. It's why we put our heart into creating game day. The taste of Louisiana. Walk-ons, we live for this.
Jenkins Doors and Windows began serving the Texas Panhandle in 1927, and we take pride in being a part of your neighborhood. We don't use false promises or gimmicks. We simply offer quality doors and windows at a fair price, and we stand behind every sale. Jenkins is family-owned and operated, and proudly continues the traditions of quality and excellence that started over 80 years ago. Call us at 372-4336 or stop by our showroom at 820 West 6th and let our knowledgeable staff help you pick out the perfect doors and windows for your home.
Well, welcome back to Buffalo Stadium, the Holiday Inn Express and Suites halftime show, as we see the band out on the field performing during the halftime here at Buffalo Stadium. They get a great crowd on hand for this one tonight. And joining us now is, I have to look at the title, Deputy Athletic Director, but Director of Athletic Performance. It's Sarah Ramey, and that's a long title. What all does that encompass?
Well, most of all, I'm still just the strength coach.
Okay.
That's my primary role.
Right.
I'm still in the weight room,
right.
Working with our student athletes every
Right.
day. And in the last couple of years, I've been able to add some more administrative roles, which I think I have a huge advantage because I get to keep a finger on the pulse of all of our teams. I get daily interaction with our student athletes, which is what I love the most, and help them improve. And then, anything that we need to ward off or, funnel information up and take care of, I'm part of that. So, and then now being an administrator, I've been able to apply for NCAA committees. I just started on the D2 track and field committee,
Right.
so I'm the South Central Regional Rep. And so it's pretty cool because our track programs are both very successful.
Not too bad.
And
in the country.
and also the Lone Star Conference
Right.
is very successful, as well as the RMAC. So that's really cool to be able to be part of that. So just being able to have more involvement at the upper levels. Not many times as a strength coach get to be involved in those committees. So that's where I will always be. That's my heart. But being able to add these other roles has been really rewarding, and the challenge is awesome. And I'm thankful for Michael being, allowing me to have the opportunity to do that.
One of the things that I think people take for granted a lot is obviously in games, it doesn't matter what the sport is, you see the athletes perform, but it's getting them to that peak performance level. And that's kind of where your job comes in, is getting them to buy in and do the things they need to do to strengthen the right consumption of food and what they're taking in and things along that line. What all goes into that I know when you're doing the one-on-ones with the athletes, but again, when you're also looking at a team overall?
Right. I think the hard thing as a strength coach is we try to control what we can control in our area, but there's technical and tactical aspects that go into team sport.
Right.
So sometimes the things that we do to prepare a student athlete for games doesn't necessarily translate because of the decisions that get made by a sport coach. So what we have to do is try to align what we're trying to do with what the sport coach is trying to get done also. So our number one goal as an athletic performance department is to make sure that the student athlete is available. And we want them to be available for the coach for practice and games, because if they're not available, then why are they in Canyon?
Right.
And then second is to build a resilient athlete. We want them to be resilient so that they can withstand the day-to-day rigors of practice, and then when they get into either on the field or court and track, to be able to perform. And then our third part of our goal is to make sure to improve athletic performance, because if we take care of number 1 and 2, then the athletic performance piece should come along because of that.
I know that Athletic Director Michael McBroom was excited when they brought you on staff here several years ago, and so kind of explain how you have seen the program as you've monitored and if you've got students involved, how that's grown over the last several years.
Oh, wow. Well, this is fall 15 for me here.
Yeah.
So starting the program from scratch in 07, it was me and 2 GAs, so I've been able to grow my staff, and then just how every sport here has just continued to improve. There's been some peaks and valleys for each one along the way. But it's just been incredible to watch the campus grow, the facilities improve, the student athletes. I say I have a lot of kids, because at this point between all the sports that I've worked with here,
right.
and now they come back with their kids,
right,
and it's really
right,
awesome. And,
right.
and we have a lot of buff and lady buff coaches out there now
right.
in the world. So I hope that the things that they learned from me and from our other athletic performance staff, they can take pieces of that and apply to their programs as a coach now. So.
As you get a hold of the students when they're freshmen too, and that's obviously when they first come in, what is the easiest thing to kind of get across to them, and probably what's the hardest thing to get across to them? I know everybody's different as individuals, but what as a group, as collective?
I think the easiest is that number one is that we care for them, like that we're here to take care of you. We're going to try to do our best to make sure that we help you improve. And the hardest would probably be that their mom's not here to feed them.
Right.
Hey, it's 3 o'clock for a workout, and you should have eaten about 4 times by now. So hammering in, like, you've got to put fuel in the fuel tank if you want to be able to perform in class and practice and at workouts. So that someone's not here to dial that up for them. So
well, and that's the other thing too, when they come in from being in the home life and through a high school program, it's a little more structured here, and so that's something they've got to adapt to. And I don't just mean here, but I mean on any college campus. It's
right.
structured, and they have to adapt to that.
Right, and that's they all have to find what's going to work best for them, and so we just try to encourage and educate. There's certain limitations that we have within the rules, and then also just within our scope of practice of what we can get across to them, but just try to educate and encourage and remind them to sleep and eat and be on time and all of the little things that eventually they come back around and say, hey, Coach, I'm really sorry that I acted the way that I did, and I really did appreciate all the things that you did for me.
Yeah.
So, which 14, 15 years later,
sure.
In hindsight, that's pretty great to hear from student athletes. So that's probably my favorite part of being a coach. So
21-0, the Buffs lead here at the half. We're visiting with Sarah Ramey. And again, talk a little bit too about some of those committees you're on the national level, and how you take what you have from here and for the Lone Star Conference, and to kind of explain that on the national level.
So for the Lone Star Conference, right now I'm the chair of the Athletic Performance Committee, so it's all the Lone Star Conference strength coaches, basically. And we're a advisory group to the Lone Star Conference, so just trying to set standards and encourage all of the Lone Star Conference schools to have a full-time strength coach who is certified. There's still a couple schools that don't have a full-time strength coach, and that's a really important role on their campus, just as important as having their full athletic training staff. And then also, as being the senior women's administrator here, I'm a liaison to that group of sports medicine practitioners, and then the track and field group, because I'm on that national committee for D2. So I just started on the national committee, so part of that, I'll be part of looking at all of the host sites as they come in and kind of funneling information back to all of our Lone Star track and field coaches, and then also the RMAC, because they're also in our region.
Right.
And then I will also get to go to the national championships for indoor and outdoor. So you get a all expenses paid trip to Pittsburgh, Kansas, and Allendale, Michigan this upcoming year. And I'm really excited to see what the next 3 years after this look like. Coach Stu told me Virginia Beach was on the docket, so that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. But I won't get to wear my WT gear while I'm there, but I'll be like the silent cheerleader. I'll be an NCAA person while I'm there, but I'll get to watch our kids perform.
The coast, Pittsburgh, Kansas, are very similar.
Yeah.
So, they're not too
I've
far
lived
different.
in the middle of the country my whole life,
Right.
and I'm a mountain over beach person. So
okay,
but I'll be ready for that trip if and when it happens.
Okay. So as a strength and athletic coordinator and conditioning and everything else, when you follow a game like this tonight, what do you kind of look for? What do you key on as far as players as they come off, and you'll see them over the course of the next few days?
So really, that's one thing I've had to change my perspective. Like when I come to a game, Michael is like marketing and all these other things. Like I'm watching the product on the field and how guys are moving, and if I did come in with any type of niggle that, okay, hey, he's moving pretty good now. Okay, we're good, in good shape. And then if a guy does come off and is hobbled up a little bit, okay, what's going to potentially be on the injury report on the upcoming week, and then how are we going to adjust for that? So I think that's how our brains work as strength coaches. Like we watch how people move and try to evaluate that, and then also just energy levels. Body language is big for me too, also, because how they come off it, after a play. If their body language is still good, then that's really important. Even if they weren't potentially successful on the last drive, if their body language is still good, that's really important.
And as you look at all the sports, as we get ready to wrap this up, as you look at all the sports, obviously football, with the number of players out there, it's kind of hard to watch and see what everybody's doing, as opposed to baseball. I mean, it's a hitter or 9 guys coming off, or basketball, it's the 5 who are out there. It's a little different when you've got quite a few guys out of the side.
Right, and guys rotating in and out. Volleyball, the core sports are a lot easier to monitor that, so to speak. But being down in it when you're on the sideline, you just try to, pick a side and watch and see how everybody's doing, and then also, Coach Kozak's in charge of football now, but I did football for 11 years here, so being down in it, you just try to find the groups and then, be positive energy for them no matter what's going on the field, and hey, checking in, hey, make sure you're hydrating. We're almost like another, sports medicine person down there, stretching people when they need it, making sure they're hydrating. So just kind of find a job and cover it up, whatever the needs might be down there.
And take care of.
Yep.
Deputy Athletic Director Sarah Ramey joining us on the halftime show. And again, Buffs lead this one 21-0. We'll take a timeout and be back after this on the Lone Star Digital Network.
Welcome to MetaDrive Pharmacy, Canyon's hometown pharmacy for over 32 years. We greet you by name, and our pharmacists take the time to counsel you and answer all your questions. Our Health Mart Pharmacy specializes in serving our community with fast, friendly, professional service and the highest quality medicines and health products. We accept most insurance plans, including Medicaid and Medicare, and we offer free in-town delivery to your home or business. Come visit us for all your healthcare needs.
For 90 years, the Lone Star Conference has been committed to excellence. What began in 1931 as a 5-team conference has grown to 18 institutions spanning 4 states. And while membership has changed, the pursuit of athletic success and academic excellence has never wavered. 119 national championships, over 2,000 All-Americans, and nearly 300 academic All-Americans. Celebrating 90 years of success, this is the Lone Star Conference.
J. Ferg Roofing has been protecting our community for 15 years. With more than 30,000 homes and businesses protected by our roofing work, we're proud of our ability to provide efficient, lasting solutions for your roofing needs. What makes us stand out from the competition is that we work for you, with dedicated team members who guide you every step of the way. That is the J. Ferg advantage. Quality, experience, fast pass scheduling, customer rewards. We have it all. Call J. Ferg Roofing today for a free inspection. We are J. Ferg Roofing. We are more.
A smile is understood in any language. It represents joy, love, and shows you care. At Full Smile Dental, our mission is to build lifelong relationships one smile at a time by providing accessible, compassionate, quality care with the personal touch of friendship. Come see us at Full Smile Dental, located in Canyon, Amarillo, Dumas, and Dalhart, and ask us about our free Whitening for Life program.
Well, welcome back to Buffalo Stadium as the Buffs lead this one at the half, 21-0 on the Holiday Inn Express halftime show. Kent Johnson joins us. And Kent, you're down on the field. You got to see what was going on. From our vantage point, it looked like it took a while for really anybody offensively to get in sync in this one.
Yeah, the Buffs moved the ball early,
yes.
But, I mean, they scored on their first drive, so
right.
they got going, but it wasn't continued. However, the Buffs maintained positive momentum, if that makes sense, throughout the entire half. That first quarter, I thought I was watching a D1 game. It took so long to play, but, Nick Gerber does an excellent job of just controlling the offense. And the more I watch Noah Bogardus, the more I like to watch Noah Bogardus. You look at him, you think here's going to be a possession-type receiver, and then you look, and we're throwing the ball 82 yards, and he's got 3 steps on the defensive back, and what a pair of hands.
Yeah, three catches for 93 yards for Nick. Nick Gerber, or for Noah, I should say. Nick Gerber, 9 of 15, 201 yards, 2 touchdowns, giving the Buffs lead at 21-0. Defense has played well. They've bent a few times, but they haven't broken.
They haven't allowed a point, and I think that's the main thing. There's been a couple times special teams has given up a big play, kept the Mustangs out of the end zone, and then the Buff defense has come on, and, a combination. The Buffs defense has played well. The Mustangs have shot themselves in the foot. Teams that are still developing, like Western New Mexico is, they commit penalties at the wrong times, and we've seen that numerous times tonight.
And that's one of the big things with a new coach, new players, all the players that came in from other universities and colleges, they just haven't had the time to really gel yet.
And this is just their 3rd game.
Right.
They can gel after they get out of Buffalo Stadium. But it was a good half for the Buffs. They lead in time of possession. They've got the total yards. They've got 21 points on the board, and the defense has put up a 0. This will be the 2nd time that the Buffs have made it to halftime without allowing their offense to score. Now, Texas College was on a different level, but you can't discount the fact that you blow a play and you can give up a score.
Yeah, absolutely right. We'll go ahead and take another timeout. We'll do so and be back after this. The Holiday Inn Express halftime show. The Buffs lead it 21-0.
Bud Light, proudly brewed
in the heart of Texas.
It's got the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of, and now it's here. First Financial Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly, local approval. It's service that just comes naturally to us, much like a love of tradition comes naturally to you. First Financial Bank, you first. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Buffalo Stadium as the as the Mustangs are out there ready to kick this one away. The Buffaloes make their way out as well as they will receive the second half kickoff as the Buffs lead this one 21-0. And again, the highlights, or I should say not the highlights, but the statistics in favor of the Buffaloes. But as we talked about, just still haven't seen them get in that rhythm as of yet, sustain long drives, make things happen on the offensive side.
You know, for WT, one of the stats that stood out to me, 0 for 2 on fourth down. And one of those obviously was on the goal line.
Right.
So that makes a big difference. At halftime, on the other side for Western New Mexico, Philip Vigil, here's the main one that I circled, 10 penalties for 74 yards against Western New Mexico.
Yeah.
Here's the kickoff as the Buffs get the football to start the second half. Heston Marshall gets his hands on it from the 7-yard line. Runs into actually Brandon Blair, stays on his feet. Marshall does, and he's out to the 24-yard line. Good
Brandon
return.
was trying to make a block, and the two defenders kind of pushed him back into Heston Marshall, and so Heston did a nice job, as you said, to stay on his feet.
Mustangs only 9 rushing yards. That's the bad. The good, 163 through the air, so that makes 172 total yards. They have stopped WT pretty well on the ground, but West Texas A&M through the air, 201 passing yards, so that's where the Buffs have made their production in the first 2 quarters, and that's where they'll go on first down. They throw it, but the pass way too high for Olesen.
And that's been interesting tonight because Nick has, when he's missed, he has missed high. And so it's one of those where either he's not feeling the touch that he normally has, or he's not feeling the connection with the receivers, and that's why it's sailing on him and going a little over their head. 2nd and 10.
Usually that when those balls sail, the arm motion is coming down and up. You don't have that arm up and coming straight across. Good handoff here from a run up the middle to Blair. It's going to be short of the first down, but it's going to set up a very manageable 3rd and short.
Second carry for Blair. He had that 22-yard touchdown run in the first half, and so a nice one to set up short, 3rd and short.
Western New Mexico, look at all these guys up in the box. They've got 8 up on the line, and the Buffs try again. This time, Brandon Blair tries the right side and gains maybe half a yard. So it'll be 4th and short from this spot on the field. You would think the Buffs will have to punt it to Western. That's a big defensive stand early in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and it was easy for us to obviously to see everybody was coming up, and so kind of surprised really that Nick didn't check out of that one, because that meant that there were 8 guys, as you called it, in the box. That meant that there was either 1-on-1 on the outside, and anybody could have went up over the middle for an easy catch.
Yeah, that is tough no matter how strong your run game is, to block that many players and successfully gain what they needed, which was 3 yards nearly. So they will punt it away. Braden Welch, good snap back to Welch, and he gets the right foot into this one.
Wow.
It is a good punt. He gets a hold of it. Tellis fumbles the ball, but it goes out of bounds. So it was dangerous there for a second, but fortunately for Western, it sails out of bounds. So
yeah, I was trying to see.
That was over a 50-yard punt, I believe, from Welch. We'll see how they score it, but that's some consistency. They need that consistency from the punter position. Last year it was Aaron Koash. He has been out this season. Haven't seen him yet with an injury, I believe. But so Welch has been the punter.
Yeah, tonight, and really launched that one. And again, did he say? I think he said 67-yard punt. Is that what he said?
Yes.
Well, that'll help your statistics, that's for sure, on that one.
So we will see Western New Mexico again. They had some yardage, they had some good drives, but they also had penalties that just really hurt them in the first half. Larson hands it off to Coleman on first down. A good tackle coming across for the Buffs. Terrence Clark makes the stop after about a 3-yard run for Bryce Coleman, the senior out of Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah, Clark does a nice job because he fights off a block, has the angle, and is able to trip him up for got about 4 yards on the carry.
Last week they struggled, just averaging 2.6 yards per rush. This is a good run, though. Coleman goes over the right side and is close to the first down marker. Taken down in the secondary by Satchel Escalante. So this is 3rd down and 1, and this is a must pickup here for Western New Mexico. Trailing 21-0. They move quickly.
But that's going to be a procedure penalty because the Buffs weren't even ready. And so trying to go with a quick snap count that time was the quarterback.
Ball start. Offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Yeah, Coach Vigil comes out. He's upset with his own team there because another mistake makes what could have been an easy first down pickup to now 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, and absolutely. And what there was going to be a quick hitch out to the far right side. And they felt confident with that play set up. And so, again, the miscue has moved him back. Now it makes it 3rd and long.
Pressure coming. They run the screen beautifully here at the 35-40. Blockers in front for Coleman. He's run down from behind by Ibrahim Kanate, but not before getting yardage into Buffalo territory at the 49. That is a play where it's a chess match, and Western New Mexico won that play.
Yeah, they really did because they saw the pressure coming with the Buffaloes, and so they brought everybody. And so when you do that, you bring the linebackers up. That opens up that over the middle, and it was just a little dump pass to the running back who picks up the first down.
See if they can keep the drive going. Larson
throws on the turf. Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to see if they're going to call that incomplete because he caught it, but he caught it and touched the turf with it. So, again, that should have been an incomplete pass and was.
A reminder that the broadcast tonight being brought to you by the Buffalo Club. And we appreciate everyone tuning in tonight here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network. These two teams, both 1-1 records, and each team trying to pick up its first victory in conference play. As in the Lone Star Conference. Yes. Here's a deep throw down the sideline, incomplete, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Down the sideline, number 19, Kenny Allen.
And step for step with him all the way down the field was Ibrahim Kanate.
Mentioned that. You know, also Bryce obviously mentioned Texas Farm Bureau Insurance for being a game sponsor as well here tonight, and we appreciate their support. We appreciate the support of the Maroon Platoon.
Absolutely, across the way here on 3rd down.
They caught Hunter smiling there with that fat head. Larson on 3rd down. Keeps it, has a blocker in front, and is taken down by the linebacker Cavender. Short of the first down. That was a good block out in front. Anytime you get Big Teasi, 240-pound senior from Pongo out in front blocking for you, that's good. But it's 4th down and 3 here.
And the thing about it is they're having trouble getting the running game, so they're going to let the quarterback try to establish that.
Buffs have 4 defensive linemen. That nickel package in again with the extra defensive back. What will the Mustangs do here on 4th and 3? Trailing by 3 touchdowns. Coleman, it's a run, and it is up the gut for a first down. Good blocking up front offensively for that line for Western New Mexico.
Yeah, they called a great play on that one because, again, they saw the linebackers kind of edging to the sides a little bit, so that opened up the middle. So he makes one step to his left and then cuts back with a nice block. Is able to get 4 yards. He only needed 3, so he picks up the first down.
Ball at the 38-yard line. Larson across the middle, incomplete. Again, I've been saying number 23, Terrence Clark, mentioned his name several times tonight, and you know, the linebacker positions, obviously you think about linebackers, you think about stopping the run, but in today's game, you better be able to cover receivers and tight ends as well.
Right.
And that's what Clark did that time. Larson, this time, is able to make the connection with his receiver across the middle. The catch good for Alan Ortiz. third and very short here.
Yeah, they really got a favorable spot. I thought it was right at the 30, and so they move it inside to the 29-yard line. So got a nice spot on that one.
Larson, snap was off, but he got it to his running back, who bounces it outside, breaks the tackle. Coleman has enough to move the chains. That was a great individual effort from Bryce Coleman.
What they're doing too with the receivers, that are spreading out wider, and so they're trying to create running lanes to the outside for Coleman to get to. And so with his good speed, and again, they didn't get to use him last week, so they're trying to make up for that in tonight's ball game.
So here's Western again. They're getting closer to this red zone. The Mustang fans watching are thinking, let's go get in the end zone, fellas. Snap was off again. Larson keeps it himself. Hole opens up, and he's able to get it across the 20-yard line before J.T. Cavender makes a good tackle. But, you know, Larson, it was interesting when I talked to Coach Vigil earlier in the week, asking him about his quarterback. He said he's sneaky athletic. You know, he said he's a guy that isn't going to win a 100-meter dash, but he said he's got some good feet.
And the thing is, he doesn't look like he's going to hurt you, but yet at the same time, he's just, you know, cutting and dashing, and that's where he's taking advantage.
He just picked up 6 yards on that last quarterback run. He'll throw this time. Receiver wide open at the 10-yard line, and then hit at the end of the play. Satchel Escalante makes the tackle, but that is a completion to Kenny Allen. A first down and goal now for Western New Mexico.
So one of their best scoring opportunities of the ball game tonight. Again, they got inside the red zone a couple of other times, settled for field goal attempts. So now they have an opportunity. They were down once at the 6-yard line, and then penalties moved them back. And so,
best drive of the evening so far for the Mustangs. Tayasi will go in motion from right to left. Coleman takes the handoff on the left side, gets up to the 5-yard line, where he is met by Terrence Clark.
And I'm sure this is one of the things that the coach talked about at the half, is because of all those miscues, is let's make sure we stay focused when we're out there, and let's not make the silly penalties when we're within striking range right now.
Well, when you get inside the goal line, coaches will say it's the money time. You got to put it in the end zone. Larson's going to throw it into the end zone, but it sails out of bounds. Coverage was from Tobias Harris. He was trying to go on the right side over in the corner to Alan Ortiz.
And Tobias played that perfectly, because what he did, he fronted the man, forced him to the outside, and then he turned around completely back toward the football, and so he was making sure that was going to sail out of bounds. And so nice job by Tobias, and again, great to see him back out there.
So third down and goal. And this is where things have tightened up. Western has been down here a couple of times, but just has had trouble getting the 6 points on the board. This time Tayasi will set to the right, and that's where the quarterback will roll. Larson throws incomplete. The receiver was there.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that was a bad pass that time by the quarterback, because his receiver did everything he needed to. He forced the coverage back deeper in the end zone. Then he turned around and presented his numbers to the quarterback, and I don't know what happened on the throw.
And even rolling to the right, that is a difficult throw, but Larson, he just didn't get any height on that pass. It hit the turf, and so falls incomplete. And we have seen what has transpired in the kicking game tonight with the kicker out for the game, Nicholas Herbert. And so with already 2 field goals missed, they're going to just keep the offense on the field on 4th and goal. Larson sets in the pocket, hit as he throws too high for the intended receiver, and give credit there right up the middle to the defensive line for the Buffs.
Well, yeah, great pressure on the quarterback. He had to throw it high, and the Buffs allowed the receiver to get to the back of the end zone, but that was just over his head and out of bounds. So the Buffaloes will take over at the 5-yard line. And again, another defensive stop for WT. Buffs lead at 21-0. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back right after this.
When you choose natural gas, chocolate chip cookies get a little tastier. Homes get a little cozier. Bank accounts tend to put on some weight. Towels get fluffier. Showers stay hotter for longer. And our blue planet gets a little greener. When it comes to choosing energy that's clean and efficient, nothing else could be more American. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
WT student athletes drink low-fat chocolate milk post-workout because it helps replenish and restore muscles quickly to their peak potential. Scientific studies suggest that the immediate benefits of low-fat chocolate milk include boosted performance, improved training, and higher recovery rates in athletes. Add low-fat chocolate milk to your post-workout routine.
Go Buffs!
Dance cam as the fans dancing in the stands.
It's Fergalicious, Bryce, right? You know what that is. Fergalicious.
Yeah, tell me what it is.
Well, it's Fergie.
And so a nice stop by the Buffs defensively. 7:42 left to play in the third quarter. Buffs lead at 21-0, and they've got the offense out there.
Hey, Gerber on first down. They'll hand it off to Khalil Harris. Up the middle follows his center, Zane Madison, and gains a couple, maybe one or just 1 yard. Speaking of Zane, saw one of the fat heads up in the maroon platoon section with Zane. He does have the glorious mullet this year, the center does, and so.
Yeah, that kind of just makes a statement regardless. I mean, it just makes a statement that I'm ready to play.
It does.
I mean, it really does.
In 2021, that's the popular hairstyle. Not for the broadcast up here, but
no.
Second down, they didn't give any gain on the first play there to Harris. This is a throw to the far side. Again, a little too high for Markel Stevens-Peppers. And quickly, the Buffs are in a hole here, 3rd down and 10.
And again, just another pass from Nick Gerber that's too high for his receiver. It's like, and like you said, it's either a follow-through or something in his shoulder is just not allowing him to get the good throws out to the sidelines.
A final Lone Star Conference action. Commerce falls to West Florida 35-17. Here's Gerber. He'll throw. Receiver open, caught, and out of bounds. First down. That is a big completion.
Yeah.
Out there to Stevens-Peppers, and a much better throw from Nick Gerber.
It was a perfect throw, and actually, I mean, that's a far throw too. He was on the near hash, goes to the far side of the field, but just throws a perfect strike and gets the first down for the Buffaloes.
And now WT with some tempo. Try to get their offense going. Harris up the middle.
And I think that's how you get the running game going a little bit, is if you do go with some tempo and try to make it a little quicker.
One of the Western New Mexico players slow to get up. Now he does get up under
injury timeout.
Number 26, Gerard McKnight. Going to try to see if I can get a couple more scores on for Lone Star Conference. A big matchup tonight, Bryce, was Angelo State and Midwestern State.
Yeah, and that's a very important game that is taking place in the Lone Star Conference tonight. We understood, too, that, of course, UTPB, who was playing at Abilene Christian, was behind at the half. Last score we had on that ball game.
So here's Gerber out of the gun on second down and 7. Screen pass. Harris catches it, turns, breaks a tackle, and Khalil into the open. Down the sideline, into Mustang territory. And that's a big play and a great grab. The pass was a little high. Khalil had to wait for it. But again, just one broken tackle, and that's all number 34 needs.
And then once he gets open like that and gets, into that second tier, that second level, then it's the speed that is what is so dangerous. You can see here on the replay. Gets to the outside, and then nice open field tackle for Western New Mexico.
Here's that update for you, Bryce. Midwestern, after a couple of seasons of maybe for what they're used to not being up to par, tonight 35-17 win over Angelo State.
Wow.
Gerber going for a home run here to Olesen, tries to come back and make the adjustment, but ball was underthrown, so it's an incomplete pass. And there's a penalty marker sitting right in the middle of the field from where the line of scrimmage was.
And I don't know if Nick was able to step through on that one or not, and so get this
holding. Offense, number 52, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Instead, a holding penalty is going to go against the Buffaloes and center Zane Madison, and so we'll mark this one back and try it once again.
Broadcast tonight being brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. There's one of the young fans enjoying the game tonight. Looking good there, buddy. I teach him to throw up the Buff sign there.
Well, yeah, he's got the shirt on, so that's part of the battle right there.
That's right. The penalty There, and see, there you go. He's doing it up on the Jumbotron there. Good job. First down and 20 after the holding call, and Western New Mexico going to bring some pressure again. Buffs will give it to Brandon Blair, and Blair just runs up the middle, spins off of a tackler, gains yardage to the 40-yard line. Brandon, on his opportunities that he has gotten tonight, he has made the most of those.
Yeah, and that's his third carry for the ball game, and again, nice job as he picks up 13 on that particular carry. 3 carries, 31 yards, and a touchdown tonight.
You know, in today's game, Bryce, with football, you see all the arm pads, wristbands, gloves. Brandon Blair, he needs none of that. He just got shoulder pads, helmet, cleats, and he's ready to go. He takes the carry here and is slowed up. That's a good defensive play for Western New Mexico. On the bottom of the pile, shooting through that time, it was defensively number 40. That's Coleman. We've mentioned his name a few times tonight. Or excuse me, Isaiah Webb. Linebackers, 5'9", 230-pound freshman.
Again, Western mix, a lot of transfers and a lot of young players too, and so they're again still trying to find that chemistry.
Third down play here, 3rd and 7 for the Buffs. They lead 21-0. Gerber is dumped, hit hard in the back.
And nobody, that was basically a linebacker blitz from the outside linebacker on the far side. Nobody called it out and helped Nick on that one because he looked up the field. He wanted to set his feet, but it came from the blind side that time, and so he got blasted. And again, credit Isaiah Webb, who was a delayed linebacker blitz.
And you don't like to see your quarterback walking off like Gerber did there, but those hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. That guy came full speed.
And so, Western continues to play hard. Welch with the punt. And Tellis will have a chance on this one. Makes the defender miss at the 15. And then kind of slips and falls. Penalty markers,
flags
2 of them.
Flying, 3 of them.
It's right where he fell down.
Yeah, they all come flying in. Everybody saw the same thing, apparently. We'll find out as they unfurl this one. Brandon Blair leading tonight rushing, 5 carries for 44 yards for the Buffalo, averaging 8.8 yards per carry.
During the return, illegal block in the back, return team, number 83. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Earlier, but there were 2 flags thrown, so it came in. Both saw it.
Yeah, they all were looking at it. Now the officials are calling WT over.
This is what a new heart valve looks like.
So Tobias was
this is
over.
What a bypassed artery looks like.
And the officials will take a timeout here, and so we'll take it as well. Buffs lead this one 21-0 with 3:14 left to play the third quarter. We'll take a timeout and be back after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
We are Carpet Tech, and we are family. More than carpet cleaners, we're a team. Diving right in, not afraid to invest in our work and each other. We're killing it day in and day out, never shrinking from a challenge. Our people are 1 part passion, 1 part grit, and about a zillion parts awesome. And we are always looking to add to our family. So what are you waiting for?
It is 1st and 10 from their own 11-yard line after they make a nice defensive stop against the Buffs. Still 21-0. That was our halftime score. Here's a handoff to Coleman, and he is hit hard at the end of the play. Is J.T. Cavender tonight. We were calling his name a lot, inside backer spot, and starting to see as hopefully Coleman's okay. Gets up slow there. Cavender is
timeout for injury.
Hard-nosed linebackers that is tough and runs to the football and finishes. That's one of the big things he does, Bryce, is he finishes off tackles.
Yeah, he really does, and he kind of reminds you a little bit of a linebacker that played for the Buffaloes last year, that just is one of those hard-nosed guys that really comes in, and that's Hayden Dennis, who I'm talking about. That Hayden would just come in and really hit you and light you up a little bit. And so
hopefully Coleman's okay.
Exactly. It looks like the way they're taking care of him right now, it looks like he has a cramp going on. And so, that happens on a hot night like tonight. It's easy for the players, especially at the bend. They're going to give him a little water, and he'll make his way back over to the far sideline here in a minute. And so it's just one of those sometimes you get the cramps on a hot evening, and so that's kind of what I think took place there. Not trying to play doctor up here in the booth, but just the way it looked anyway. Buffs lead at 21-0, 3:03 left to play here in the third quarter. It's a second down and 7 for Western New Mexico. Some of those scores from around the area again.
Yeah, Midwestern State gets a big win against Angelo State, two really good teams in conference, and Midwestern State wins 35-17. They stay undefeated. Commerce takes on West Florida tonight, and West Florida makes the trip to Texas and wins 35-17. The other score, Kingsville, impressive on the road. They defeat pretty easily. They defeat Eastern New Mexico 34-10. So the Javelinas get that victory there. Here, our score, 21-0 West Texas A&M leading third quarter. Low snap again. They get it down, though. Hand it off. Hoban hit again by number 45, J.T. Cavender.
Again, they're trying to run to the outside. They're really not running up the middle. They haven't had any success going against the 3-4 of the Buffaloes. And so what they're trying to do is get outside the tackles and make something happen in the run game. And so the Buffs have kind of adjusted to that here in the third quarter, been able to make some nice stops.
Yeah, the average yard per rush is 1.8 right now. They're going to throw it. It's complete to Rankin. Rankin has a first down and a good job of running after the catch as he gets close to the 30-yard line.
Cole Ulster comes up and makes the stop, but not before he does pick up that first down and move the sticks.
I think for West Texas A&M, the defense really stepped up, Bryce, this weekend. Still a lot of time left, 2 minutes here in the third quarter and then a fourth quarter to be played, but so far they just have been miles better than what they were last week. Good tackle on the outside as the pass is caught by Rankin. And then the tackle made by Ibrahim Kanate, good gain of 6 yards.
Ibrahim makes a nice job, comes up, and as the player actually tried to jump over him, just grabbed his legs and took him down.
And see, those were the plays last Saturday that the Buffs were not making the tackle, and it was leading to big plays for UT Permian Basin.
That shows you the defense took note and cleaned some things up this week.
Hoban goes nowhere. Hoban runs right into Mr. Eric Collins. Love Eric's celebrations. They're always very sportsmanlike.
Yes.
But creative, and he has made some big plays tonight.
Well, he really has, and again, just a great stop, and it just shows the determination he has as that outside linebacker. He came around, fought off the block, and then was able to make the tackle for no gain.
Eric making his 40th start. He has started every single game since he stepped on campus for West Texas A&M, over 250 tackles in his career. Here's third and long for Western. Down the field, good snag. Collins in coverage, had good coverage, but it was just a perfect throw and a great catch from Corbin Gibson for a first down for Western New Mexico.
And I think if you're Western, too, you're finding out a little bit about your quarterback here and that he's settling down and really finding his receivers in stride, and that's very important for them as they move forward from here.
Larson, 244 passing yards, now over 250 passing yards. He's thrown it a lot. He's trying to find a receiver here and just has to throw it out of bounds. Good pressure being applied from the Buffs defensive line, and again, good coverage in the secondary. Stops the clock with 26 seconds left.
Max Perez pulls that one in over the sideline and thought, man, if I would cut it that in the end zone, that would have made a big difference.
That's right, earlier when the Buffs had 4th and goal at the 1.
Trying to get it to Max, and he just couldn't find the handle on the football.
Second down and 10 from the Mustang 45-yard line. Running back screen, it opened up perfectly. Hoban at the 40, 30, and then run down from behind by Gage Smith. They've done that screen pass 3 or 4 times.
It's worked well for him tonight, and really credit Larson. He sells it very well as the Buffs come on, a delayed blitz, 2 linebackers coming up, and they're putting pressure on him. He allows them to get past the primary line, and then he's able just to dump the pass off that time to Hoban, and Hoban turns it into a huge gain.
So that will take us to the 4th quarter. Western New Mexico on the move again. They have not been able to punch it into the end zone. The Buffs defense has been stingy tonight. Right now, we'll head to the 4th quarter with the score 21-0. West Texas A&M leading. Be back after these messages right here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
How to make something that's already fresh even fresher? By adding fresh new things, like crisp pico de gallo for a little kick, and creamy cilantro lime sauce for that extra whoa. And pepper jack cheese because, of course, all on top of 2 fresh beef patties, or with chicken on a brioche bun. Whataburger's limited time pico de gallo burger and new pico de gallo chicken sandwiches. Good thing for fresh things. Good thing there's Whataburger.
Well, welcome back to Buffalo Stadium. The Buffs heading into quarter number 4, 21-0. But Western New Mexico is knocking on the door as they are about to try to get into the red zone once again.
They have flirted with the end zone throughout the evening, but just have not been able to get the touchdowns. They've also tried 2 field goals and missed both of those with the backup kicker trying. But right now, again, here they are. And it makes a huge difference. If they can score early in this quarter, make it a 2-score game, maybe inject some confidence in the defense.
Absolutely.
They'll throw to Rankin. Catch is made. And look at the defense, as that was it Michael Smith again that came over and made a great
shows you
play.
How quick he is. I mean,
he's 250 pounds.
He's a defensive lineman, and he's reading that. So he peels off and heads out to the far side of the field and is able to run down the receiver and make a stop.
Nice play there from number 96. Good look at Michael Smith there. 2nd down, Larson hit as he throws, and Hoban is running at the 5, diving,
and he
fumbled at the end. This is crazy. I didn't think that was a completed pass.
It wasn't. He was hit.
It's not basketball.
The officials are going to talk this over. He was hit as he was throwing the football, so it should be an incomplete pass.
Fumble. 1st down.
But are they going to mark it? At a fumble, he picked it up but he lost the handle on it.
So they said it was a fumble. I thought that was incomplete pass all the way. His arm was going forward.
Well, then
the ball hits the turf. Hoban picks it up.
And Hoban fumbles it at the 3-yard line. And so that, again, I don't know why they blew the whistle. And I don't think neither can Hunter Hughes. He can't believe it. He's all the way down there.
Western's not going to waste any time. They're going, and Coleman is walking into the end zone. Touchdown, Western New Mexico. Buffaloes are very upset. There's nothing they can do about it, though, as at the bottom of the pile, a helmet comes off one of the offensive linemen for Western New Mexico. So the Mustangs take advantage of what was a crazy play and maybe a missed call. And they score a touchdown with Bryce Coleman, the first of the evening. It's now 21-6, 13:57. Here's what's interesting. Can they kick an extra point now?
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. And on to kick it is going to be James Hoban, who has missed 2 field goal attempts here in the ball game tonight. And again, he's not normally the kicker, but he's filling in. See what he can do.
Good hold. And Hoban's extra point is down the middle, and we got some more pushing and shoving as things are heating up. Things are tightening up. Western New Mexico, there's a look at Coach Hughes. He's not happy about what just happened. But it's a 2-score game now, 21-7. Buffs lead with 13:57 left to play. We're back with the kickoff after these messages.
The best tailgates start with the best beef, and the best beef starts with Market Street. Market Street, where we do beef the best.
Welcome back to Buffalo Stadium. Head coach Hunter Hughes was getting an explanation from the field judge and the back judge on that last play, as he thought it should have been an incomplete pass. They said it was a fumble as the quarterback was hit trying to release the ball. And so Hoban picks it up and runs with it, but he fumbled it at the 3, and they blew the whistle. So, again, that's a lot of unsureness out there that took place on that last little series for Western New Mexico.
Squib kick right down the middle into the arms of Maxwell Perez, and Perez does what he does best. He tries to run over someone, gets across the 40-yard line. Good return. Regardless of what just happened on that wild play there, WT offensively needs to get something going. The last 2 drives, they've not looked good.
And this is where you want them to come in and kind of take control of the ball game. And you really want your offense to just kind of take on a nice methodical drive up the field. They lead 21-7. And so, but you haven't seen them get in sync yet tonight in this ball game. And again, great yardage. I mean, they have 324 yards, but now Western has 342.
Just got a text from a friend. Do you guys have replay? Was that a fumble? Didn't look like it from down here, one of the fans. Buffs first down and a handoff. And look at this, running wild at midfield into Mustang territory. Bryce, there's one of our favorite running backs, Mr. Lindsey.
Marcus Lindsey gets to the outside, and again, we got to see him in the first ball game against Texas College, and he did a great job in that one, and then just showed his little burst of speed. And again, he's one of those guys that kind of gives you that little momentum push sometimes that you need.
Well, he's got quick feet, but also what he gives you is when he's in the open field, good luck tackling.
Yes. It's like a bowling ball coming at you.
Marcus is 5'10", 220 pounds. Going to transfer from Colorado State Pueblo. So big run, and it's 1st and 10 for the Buffs. Pressure coming. Gerber unleashes, has Tipton down the field. It's Olison, actually, and it was incomplete. Saw the 9. It was 39, not 19, but at the last second, a good play from the defensive back down there from Western New Mexico.
And really, Nick didn't really get to step through all the way on the pass. He had pressure in his face, and so he did unload it. He just couldn't get the final little push on the football. Had he been able to, I think that would have been a completion into the end zone for a score.
Caleb Olison was the intended receiver.
Look at the pressure coming again, and it gets the Buffs to jump. Alcorta, the right tackle, I believe, is who they're going to get.
He's saying they were coming across. Now the officials are talking to the referee about it just to make sure they feel like that it was encroachment on the defense at the time.
Another player that's in there right now, Bryce, is Patrick Gray, the 6', 277-pound redshirt freshman out of San Antonio.
Offside. Defense.
There you go. That rarely
5-yard penalty.
Get that line.
Second down.
Like that, you don't see the defense completely come across.
They didn't make contact, but they jumped into the neutral zone, and that caused Alcorta to move. And so it's one of those that can go either way. And credit the officials. They talked about it, and maybe they said, we kind of blew that one down here that was a fumble, so maybe we kind of need this, give this one to WT.
Adam Alcorta, the sophomore. Yeah, that's right. The sophomore making his 13th start. Now we're pointing again.
And it's the same thing. Coming across, number 15 came across that time, and that's Dante James Fanga.
Well, what do the coaches always say when you're up on the line? Watch the
offside.
Football.
Defense, number 15. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Football moves, that's when you go.
So back-to-back 5-yard penalties gives the Buffs a first down. And again, I don't know if they were, because we were going with a hand clamp when we had most of the season. I don't know if Nick's kind of changed that to a voice command or what he's done.
So Marcus Lindsey is the running back, set to the left of Gerber. He'll get the carry. Good cut, runs hard inside, drags a defender across the 30 to the 28-yard line. Tackle up front.
And the way the Buffs are lining up, they're trying to go with tempo here a little bit, trying to get their offense a little spurt.
Tylen Coleman on the stop there from Maricopa, Arizona, 6', 235-pound sophomore. At Adams State, had 6 tackles, also had 3.5 sacks. Second down and 6. They fake it to Lindsey. Gerber keeps it, and is going to be able to use his speed to nearly pick up the first down.
Thomas Webb trying to run him down, and again, Nick, like you said, just turned the corner and went up the field and be close to the first down mark. It'll be about a yard short.
That was one thing last week that UT Permian Basin did a really nice job of. They did not let Gerber run around. They were containing him and
kept him in the pocket.
We have seen Nick make some nice plays running the football. Right now it's a 3rd and 1 for the Buffs. They stay on the ground, and Lindsey breaks a tackle. He's at the 15-10. Marcus Lindsey into the end zone. Stampede, baby.
And give credit to a nice downfield block that time by Noah Bogardus, as he is able to really kind of push the guy that was staying with him. As you can see on the replay, here's just a great downfield block right there.
Wow.
And Noah, again, just kind of leads the way, allowing getting into the end zone that time Marcus Lindsey, as he does what your running backs are told to do: follow your blocks. Great downfield block to get him in.
Extra point coming from Urias. But a great response from West Texas A&M offensively after the Mustangs had cut it to a 14-point game. WT goes right down the field and scores a touchdown from Marcus Lindsey. Score now 28-7. Buffs lead it. We're back after these messages here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Choosing the right countertops for your kitchen can be tricky. Nowadays, there are hundreds of colors, patterns, and textures and materials that range from natural to engineered stone. Marble Depot is here for you throughout every step of the process. And yes, we do have a lot of options that might make that decision a little harder, but we're also going to ask the right questions so that you get the most out of your investment. So come by our showroom and let us help create what you've been dreaming of.
Answer what Western New Mexico does is they go in and score. The Buffs go on a 5-play drive that covers 58 yards, and Marcus Lindsey takes it in from 22 yards out. That's the second 22-yard run on the rush that we've seen in tonight's ball game, as Blair had one earlier, and so the Buffs able to get in the end zone and push the lead to 28-7 over Western New Mexico.
And they've also been able to get the run game now, Bryce, over 100 yards. It's up to 122 on the ground for the Buffs, 250 through the air, so that's 372 total yards. Again, Western New Mexico, they have 342 total yards, 275 through the air, but just 67 on the ground. And you look at red zone opportunities. Mustangs 1 for 4.
Right.
That tells the story.
And that's the big thing, that they've had the opportunities tonight. They just have not been able to convert. And so, and again, kind of don't sugarcoat it. Their kicker is not here, and so they're going with that's the backup kicker they've had to go with tonight.
Kickoff coming here. We'll see if Tellis can get his hands on a return. They're going to kick it away from him. It'll be Josh Powell, and he'll take a knee in the end zone. So nice job on the kickoff from Mauricio Gonzalez. Again, the WT kickers, go back 2 or 3 seasons ago, Bryce, and we were closing our eyes when kicks were taking place.
We were.
But last season, the Buffs were very good at kicking. They made most, I think, only missed 1 field goal. Kicking team worked a lot with Sergio Castillo.
Yes.
Pretty good name.
Yeah, former Buff kicker that played with the Jets last year, and actually we were surprised he's not still with the Jets this year, to be honest. But again, he's been around the area and had some camps and really helped out his former college, as he was able to come on and help the kickers, and they improved greatly. I mean, they really have, and so it's been a really nice change for the Buffaloes. And referees come out and put it on the near hash, and Western says, no, we want to go to the far hash. So we walk over the far hash, and that's where they'll take off with 11:45 left to play in the ball game.
Mauricio, one of the kickers. The other one, Gage Urias, who is 2 for 3 on field goals this year and is perfect on extra points. Here's Larson, the quarterback, on first down, going to air it down the field, a receiver down there, and at the last second broken up, played perfectly by Ibrahim Kanate on the jump ball and trying to get it to Rankin.
And that's absolutely right. I mean, he stayed behind the receiver, and so he watched the football and then timed his jump perfectly just to knock that one away, and did a nice job of playing almost like center field, and really doing a good job of playing defense that time.
Yeah, Ibrahim, if the ball was underthrown a little bit, one thing he can do is run the football down. He's got a lot of speed, and a lot of speed coming in from the edge with a sack from Victor Smith. Takes Larson down.
And a celebration to boot as he about falls down. Yeah, that gets the Buffs fired up defensively a little bit. Nice job as he kind of wheels around. He comes and kind of loops back around from the left side back toward the quarterback and was able to take him down for a sack.
This is the energy, the swag that was missing last week, what we are seeing tonight from this West Texas A&M defense. Third down now and 14 for the Mustangs. They've struggled with that shotgun snap all night. Larson is hit again, and it's Victor Smith again. Back to back.
Well, and credit that time to Jalen Hill. Same thing. He circles around, forces the quarterback to step up, and then able to come in and make the sack that time with Smith. And again, back-to-back sacks for Victor. And as you can see here on the replay, again, you watch Hill circle around, loops around, and then forces the quarterback to step up in the pocket, and then just waiting on him is Victor Smith to make the stop.
Smith, the 245-pound, still freshman with that COVID year last year out of Garland. Last year made 2 starts, had 10 tackles, 2.5 for loss. Buffs bringing some pressure here against this punt from Thomas Webb Jr., and now they just need to get out of the way as it's going to hit at midfield. Heston Marshall thinks about it, but gets away, and it's down at the 45-yard line. Good defensive series.
That was a great series at that time, and that's what you've been kind of waiting on, to get that kind of extra momentum going, and really the Buffs did a nice job with it. Again, the Buffs lead at 28-7. We'll take a timeout and be back right after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Welcome to Shimon Dental Group, where every day we're excited to see our patients and treat them like family. We are dedicated to providing you with the highest quality care in a friendly and comfortable environment. Shimon Dental Group's patient-focused philosophy puts your needs front and center.
We are constantly investing in leading-edge technology. Innovations that speed the treatment process and improve aesthetics. We're expanding the breadth of our cosmetic and restorative services through training to provide the best possible outcomes.
Just with the level of commitment that they show to taking care of my family and I, it's absolutely unmatched in this town, so I've been very happy with them.
Brightening smiles for more than 3 decades.
Contact Shimon Dental Group for your appointment today.
When joints begin to fail, it's more than an inconvenience. The relentless grinding pain slows you down and can even stop you from doing the things you enjoy in life. At Physicians Surgical Hospitals, our skilled orthopedic experts are using advanced robotic surgeries to get you back to being you sooner with a less painful recovery. We're doing more than restoring joints. We're restoring lives.
Thanks to all of our sponsors for tonight's ball game, including Texas Farm Bureau. We appreciate all the folks having to bring this one tonight from Buffalo Stadium. The Buffs lead at 28-7, 10:04 left to play. The Buff offense out there to try to, once again, get a nice drive going.
Announced attendance tonight, 5,677. Gerber going down the side for Tipton, and he came back and made the catch. Great adjustment from Tyree Tipton.
Yeah, and that really was. I mean, that's a good description because the pass was underthrown. He had already beaten the defender trying to keep it. As you can see right here, he had already beaten the defender, as really Nick doesn't get to step all the way through, and then he adjusts back to the football, goes up high, go to the high point and pull that in, and that's exactly what he does for the first down. Tyree Tipton on a nice job picking up a nice reception from his quarterback.
One of the local players out of Lubbock Monterey High School, 5'11", 160-pound freshman. Khalil Harris takes the carry, and then immediately is taken down. What a play defensively. That was Mark Jackson, 6'3", 250-pound senior. Originally, Bryce, this player, Power 5. He signed with Oklahoma, the Sooners, and then had transferred to TCU. Ends up playing for the Western New Mexico Mustangs, and Philip Vigil had said, yeah, he's the real deal. He said he's fast, he's big, and so they're glad to have him on the defensive line.
Absolutely.
He took Khalil down for a
and that's going to be
2-yard loss.
Moving before on that one, so that'd be 5 yards against the
Ball
Buffs.
start. Offense, number 34, 5-yard penalty,
See the running
second
back
down.
Don't false start too often. That's what happened there.
It's one of those two where Khalil's just trying to get the timing down tonight, trying to, make sure that he's in sync with the quarterback, and that time it just kind of rocked him a little early.
Zach Dietrich back in for the Buffs on the offensive line at the right guard spot, number 76, the redshirt freshman from Keller. Here's a screen pass. They get it out to Brandon Blair. Blockers in front. Blair makes one man miss, stays in bounds. Blair down the sideline. He's going to score. Wow. Touchdown, Buffaloes. And Brandon Blair. How does he do it, Bryce?
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a veteran player who just knows how to play the game. He had Brennan Jackson coming in, and it really had beeline toward him to make a stop. And so Brandon just kind of holds up for half a second, allows the defender to go by, and then is just able to adjust and stay on the sideline and take that one in for a score. Nicely done by Brandon Blair.
Buffs lead 34-7. Urias going to try to make it 35-7. Good snap. They get the hold down. The hold, by the way, from Brandon Blair. And the kick from Urias is good. Make it 35-7. 8:23 left in the fourth quarter as we look again at this play from Brandon.
And this is why a nice little reception. And he stops, allows the defender to go by him, and then just takes off and gets into the end zone.
It's a good block from Jacoby Lott as well. So the Buffs lead 35-7. We're back after this timeout here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network. All right, welcome back to Buffalo Stadium as the Buffs score 35-7. A great play from Blair. Was mentioned that blocking at Parker Hanna out there. You have Jacoby Lott, the sophomore, the transfer from Kansas, who just is an impressive player and
really
gets better every game here for WT. But Blair, with the individual effort at the end, gets the ball into the end zone. We were trying to figure out what Coach Hughes was upset about, talking to the official, and Nick Gerber was upset about something too.
Yeah, they both were down there with the official during the timeout. And so, again, 2 touchdowns for Blair tonight in the ball game.
Kickoff angled to David Tellis. Will bring it out at the 20. Tries to stay in bounds. Penalty marker comes
It's going to be a block in the back because it looked like one of the Buffaloes had, it was Ty Dillon, had the right angle on trying to make the stop that time, and I think he got hit in the back. We'll wait for the officials to sort this one out.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block. Receiving team, number 48, half the distance, first down.
That is the 15th penalty in the game against Western New Mexico.
And that's the things that really the coaching staff is going to talk about, and Coach Vigil, and again, he understands, as they're trying to get a cohesive unit together and trying to get everybody to kind of mesh and gel at the same time, but it takes time, and so that's kind of what they've done, trying to clean up some of these things. And that's some of the things they'll look at when they look at film. They'll go back and try to clean that up in practice this week.
First down for the Mustangs. They hand it off to Coleman, and what a play defensively coming through. This defensive line really warming up. That time it is number 51, Eric Goodman.
Eric does a nice job on that one. Fights off the block and is able to make the stop for a loss. and that's a loss of 3 yards. By the way, for the Buffaloes, I might add, Caleb Areola is warming up on the sideline, so he may come in here in the next Buff offensive set.
After Western had cut the lead down to 21-7, the Buffs really have done a nice job of responding. There's a good throw on the slant pattern, complete to Alan Ortiz for a first down for Western New Mexico.
Michael Anuzzi comes up and makes the stop. He, along with Tobias Harris, able to make the tackle, but not before Western picks up the first down on, again, that slant pattern that goes up and in toward the middle of the field.
Again, our game tonight brought to you by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. It's been a good one for the Buff fans. Pass complete on the outside. They get number 24 again, Ortiz.
And sometimes you wonder, how can they be so wide open like that? But again, the Buffs are playing kind of a prevent defense. They're playing back, and so they're going to allow those short passes to be completed over the middle or to the sidelines. Then they're going to come up and force the issue.
Your second down and 2, under 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter for Western New Mexico. Good protection, pass thrown on the outside, caught by Powell, and then he's taken down, get tackled by Eric Collins, but not before. Another first down is picked up for Western New Mexico. This Mustang team looking like this is obviously going to go toward in the loss column for Coach Vihill's team, but there's a lot of good things to take out of this.
There really is, and a lot of things he's going to build on. And if I were him, I'd be excited at the way his team has played in tonight's ball game.
Good protection again. Nobody's open initially. Now they find the running back on the outside, and that is close to another first down. Good job both by Devin Larson, the quarterback, and then Bryce Coleman. I told you those running backs, they like to throw to them.
Yeah, they really do, because the run game hasn't really materialized, so they can utilize them out of the backfield. And again, when you look, the Buffs are playing, the corners are playing about 25 yards back. And so a lot of times you'll see them only about 10 to 15 yards back.
Mustangs move quickly. Larson, this time he's in trouble. This time he is sacked. It's Goodman that comes through, then he gets some help at the end of that play. Larson came up after the sack, pointing over at West Texas A&M.
There's flags.
Legal substitution.
The other end of the field.
12 men on the field. Defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So it was defensive holding is what they're calling on the Buffaloes. There was 2 flags, and so that was way up the field. And so unfortunately, that sack for Goodman won't count because of the penalty. Again, 2 wideouts to the near side, 2 to the far side. They're going to stay in the passing pattern.
Here's Larson. He'll throw to the outside. Finds Powell open again. Powell stays in bounds, and Powell, well, I said he stayed in bounds. They're going to say the line judge comes in and says he stepped out of bounds just short of the 15-yard line. So he's watching it closely there, but that was nearly 6 points for the Mustangs. And on the evening tonight, that is the 9th catch for Josh Powell.
Yeah, he's had a great ball game, and again, great speed. And so he and his quarterback are beginning to find a little simpatico.
That's what you and I always work for, Bryce.
That's exactly right.
Larson avoids a sack somehow, escapes a second defender, throws, and it is caught for a touchdown. Larson is able to find, streaking across, trying to catch the numbers at 36. It's 38 for Western New Mexico, and that is Cameron Sanders.
Maybe.
Now, we don't have a 30. Here's a look at the replay. He gets out of trouble there.
Yeah.
Mata tries to get him, and then he finds the receiver for the touchdown.
He's not on the roster.
He's not. We don't have a 38, but it was a great grab on the touchdown toss from Larson. Well, so Western New Mexico cuts into this lead. It's 35-14. So we'll take the timeout, come back. Buffs get the kickoff as we continue with football from J. Ferg Stadium at J. Ferg Field at Buffalo Stadium. We're back after this.
This is a walk-on athlete. They train longer, put their heart into the game. This is the passion we're built on. It's why we put our heart into creating game day with a taste of Louisiana. Walk-ons, we live for this.
Well, we believe with 4:46 left to play in the ball game, it was to Hayden Cook, a running back that hasn't really played much tonight, but he came in and he was streaking across. He may have been in more as a tight end, and again, when the quarterback broke containment and got out of the box, and so he just took off and went to the corner of the end zone and was able to pull that one in for the touchdown. Buffs lead at 35-14, 4:46 left to play, as it will be Western New Mexico set to kick this one away.
Bryce, this is interesting. Coming on to attempt the onside is Nicholas Herbert, said kicker that we've been talking about. So I don't know what's going on.
Interesting.
But we have not seen number 31 on the field until this point right here. He's the kicker. And he'll kick it to Tyree Tipton. And Tipton goes down pretty quickly at the 46-yard line. So
well, he's hobbling as he goes back to pick up his tee. So obviously there are certain things he can, like that he can do. He's not going to swing his leg full extension to kick out on a kickoff, but on a short kick like that where he's trying to power it up and hit somebody basically on an onside kick, I guess they're going to let him do it. So we didn't think he was dressed tonight, and so he comes out and does do that kick.
And now with the yardage on that last drive, Western New Mexico up to 400 total yards, 352.
That's one of the things the Buffalo staff's not going to be real happy about is total yards in this one.
Gerber stays in, and Western New Mexico stays with defensive pressure. Tipton down the field, makes a great grab at the 20. Tyree Tipton inside the 10-yard line.
Man,
that is a difficult catch to make.
It is so hard. It's a basket-type catch where he catches it over his shoulder and is able to pull that one in. Just great timing. You can watch right here. Nick just times it up for his receiver and over the shoulder pulls that in. Great job by Tipton. Great speed to get up the field in order to get that big first down.
That's a 43-yard pass completion to Tyree Tipton. His fourth catch.
So Lindsey's the running back out there right now, and so I wouldn't be surprised to see a heavy dose of Marcus Lindsey right now.
Said fourth. That's actually the fifth catch for Tyree Tipton, and he is over 100 yards. Lindsey starts up the middle, cuts outside, takes on a defender, and manages to get to the 5-yard line. So pick up a 5 there for Marcus Lindsey.
Great example of what you talk about, how hard he is to bring down, because he ran right into the defender, and then it took 3 of them to kind of to corral him and get him to the turf, not before he got to the 6-yard line officially now.
Yeah, in week 1, of course, Bryce, we're more old school. We get the NFL player comps of guys from the 80s and 90s kind of, but Mike Allstott was the guy
that's exactly who he reminds me of.
They don't wear those neck rolls anymore, though.
No.
They stay with Lindsey. Lindsey stays on his feet, dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Buffaloes.
That's just a good hard-nosed run by Marcus Lindsey, because he goes right up the middle, has to kind of tightrope a couple of steps, and then is able to just dive in for the score. And again, nice run from Marcus Lindsey. Buffs improve their lead to 41-14 and await the extra point try here. That completes a 3-play, 53-yard drive as Lindsey goes in from 6 yards out.
All right, Urias on the extra point attempt. His kick is up and good. Buffs with another answer. Their offense cooking here in the second half, 42-14 as we look again at the replay. Big man avoids, dives, barrel roll right into the end zone.
Absolutely.
Touchdown for Lindsey. We'll take the timeout, come back with the kickoff after this timeout.
Jenkins Doors and Windows began serving the Texas Panhandle in 1927, and we take pride in being a part of your neighborhood. We don't use false promises or gimmicks. We simply offer quality doors and windows at a fair price, and we stand behind every sale. Jenkins is family owned and operated, and proudly continues the traditions of quality and excellence that started over 80 years ago. Call us at 372-4336 or stop by our showroom at 820 West 6th and let our knowledgeable staff help you pick out the perfect doors and windows for your home.
Well, welcome back to Buffalo Stadium as the Buffs get set to kick this one away. Again, a three-play drive that goes 53 yards as Marcus Lindsay takes it in from 6 yards out. And again, really a nice night for Marcus Lindsay as he leads the Buffs with 5 carries for 53 yards. 22 is his longest run. That was a touchdown run. And then Brandon Blair right behind him with 5 carries for 44 yards in the ball game tonight. So again, the Buffs getting a little bit going in the running game. 130 yards on the ground so far in tonight's contest. As here's the kickoff.
And it'll be Powell that'll have a chance from the 5-yard line. He's got speed across the 25. Good cut. Reverses field at the 25. Can he get around the edge? Now he's in trouble. And it's taken down. Good pursuit by the Buff special teams as he ends up kind of going backwards there for Powell to the 18-yard line.
I'll give him a lot of credit, though. That was a good effort on his part just to try to make some things happen. And so nice job by Powell trying to keep the momentum going a little bit for the Western New Mexico offense as they get their chance to come back out again. And again, nice drive by the Buffaloes as they got into the end zone. Lead this one 42-14 with 2:40 left to play here in the ball game.
The offensive stats starting to look really nice here for West Texas A&M. For Western New Mexico, they'll go with the run game on first down, and Bryce Coleman with the carry tonight. For Coleman, it's been tough finding those holes.
Right.
Rushing yards now, they're over 50. There's a pass on the outside. David Tellis running hard after the catch. Looks like he has a first down.
We talked a little bit ago, too, about this is a game that Western New Mexico can build on. And again, as they can try to gel a little bit, especially offensively. And I think they're finding some pieces that are really working well for Coach Vigil and the offensive staff on what they want to do, what their identity is for this season.
Under 2 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Buffs going to get that first conference win, improve the overall record after this one's all said.
False start.
False start.
Offense. Number 57.
And,
5 yards.
This is what
first down.
When Bryce, you and I talked earlier in the week, and last week was not pretty. Nobody was happy about what happened in Odessa. But this is what we hoped would happen, is the Buffs would hopefully have a focus, get some players back from injury, and take care of business at home.
And exactly right. And again, this is good medicine after a good week of practice to come out here and really play well. And, they've got some good things to build on as well.
Good strike in the middle to Tellis. He's taking down another tackle for J.T. Cavender. He may be one of the players we get to visit with after the game, as he has had a good performance tonight from that linebacker spot.
Clock continues to roll. 1:18 left to play in the ball game.
He's the leading tackler for the Buffs with 12, now 13 tackles. Look at this pass down the field, caught and then dropped. That was a good adjustment by the receiver down the field. Number 19, Kenny Allen, but just popped out of his hands at the last second.
For the Buffaloes, trying to stay step for step was Jake Cosper, and Jake kind of got turned around but recovered nicely to help knock that one away.
Yeah, right now Cavender is credited with 13 tackles, 11 of those solo.
Wow.
Larson, quarterback, throws this one out of bounds. He had pressure right in his face. Good job by Cole Alster.
He really did. Cole did a nice job, loops around, and it's one of those they do kind of do a little X, and he loops around and is able to get in, put pressure on the quarterback, and really makes him throw that away. Brings up fourth down and about 4 for Western New Mexico.
So if you're West Texas A&M, you start looking at next week.
Well, big game next week, Colorado School of Mines.
They're number 7. They may be moving up even from that after a big win over Fort Lewis today. Just blew out Fort Lewis. And mentioned earlier with Texas A&M Commerce, by the way, that was the number 1 team in the nation, West Florida, that got that win. And so Commerce actually was ahead early in the game. Second half was all West Florida.
Yeah.
But
they made the adjustments and kind of, what's worked well for them this year.
Right now in the conference, though, with Midwestern State defeating Angelo State, Midwestern State up at the top of the Lone Star Conference, and then it's wide open.
Yeah. That's why a win tonight is important for the Buffaloes. Western New Mexico next week plays UTPB, and so they have a big important conference game next week at home in Silver City against the Falcons, so that will be an important ball game. And like you said, for the Buffs, playing Colorado School of Mines, a top-ranked team, and so that will be a really, really good test for the Buffaloes next week as they get a chance to see how they stack up against one of the top 10 teams in the country.
WT will just take the knee here. That should be the last play of the game. And the Buffs going to enjoy this one. And tonight, Bryce, how about a career night? We've mentioned a lot of guys. We need to mention the quarterback as well because it's a career night for Nick Gerber. What does he finish on the statistics right now for passing? Because his old career high on a passing yardage was not even 300 yards, 277.
355 tonight, 14 of 23. 3 touchdowns in the ball game tonight, and so really a nice ball game. They couldn't get the running game going early, so they had to depend on the passing game, and so that worked well for the Buffaloes tonight. Worked well too for Western New Mexico, but really better for the Buffaloes. Some big pass plays, big completions that Nick had tonight, and that made a big difference in the ball game.
All right, final score: West Texas A&M wins it 42-14, defeating Western New Mexico. The Buffs improved to 2-1, while the Mustangs fall to 1 win and 2 losses early in the season. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll start the post game here from Buffalo Stadium. Victorious tonight, the maroon and white, and we're back with more after these messages on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Welcome to MetaDrive Pharmacy, Canyon's hometown pharmacy for over 32 years. We greet you by name, and our pharmacists take the time to counsel you and answer all your questions. Our Health Mart Pharmacy specializes in serving our community with fast, friendly, professional service and the highest quality medicines and health products. We accept most insurance plans, including Medicaid and Medicare, and we offer free in-town delivery to your home or business. Come visit us for all your healthcare needs.
For 90 years, the Lone Star Conference has been committed to excellence. What began in 1931 as a 5-team conference has grown to 18 institutions spanning 4 states. And while membership has changed, the pursuit of athletic success and academic excellence has never wavered. 119 national championships, over 2,000 All-Americans, and nearly 300 academic All-Americans. Celebrating 90 years of success, this is the Lone Star Conference.
J. Ferg Roofing has been protecting our community for 15 years. With more than 30,000 homes and businesses protected by our roofing work, we're proud of our ability to provide efficient, lasting solutions for your roofing needs. What makes us stand out from the competition is that we work for you with dedicated team members who guide you every step of the way. That is the J. Ferg advantage. Quality, experience, fast pass scheduling, customer rewards. We have it all. Call J. Ferg Roofing today for a free inspection. We are J. Ferg Roofing. We are more.
A smile is understood in any language. It represents joy, love, and shows you care. At Full Smile Dental, our mission is to build lifelong relationships one smile at a time by providing accessible, compassionate, quality care with the personal touch of friendship. Come see us at Full Smile Dental, located in Canyon, Amarillo, Dumas, and Dalhart, and ask us about our free Whitening for Life program.
Deep in the heart of Texas, the prairie lies
Bud Light, proudly brewed
in the heart of Texas.
Back to Buffalo Stadium. The Buffs come away with a 42-14 win tonight over Western New Mexico, an important conference win. Really, they needed that one tonight. And so they go improved to 2-1 on the season, 1-1 in conference play. And again, kind of stays with everybody else as we saw some of the earlier results or heard about the earlier results from around the conference tonight. But again, nice win for the Buffaloes. They had 479 total yards in the ball game. What I find interesting is that Western ran 86 offensive plays. That tells you the defense was out there a while.
They were out there for a while. And, you know, coaches look at maybe some of the statistics, and they're not going to like that the yardage was so high. But what the defensive coaches are going to like, Bryce, is Western New Mexico only got in the end zone twice.
Right.
And so the WT defense did its job when it needed to. Obviously, a couple of those times in the red zone, they ended up in field goal tries for Western New Mexico without their main kicker, and that was a problem tonight. But there were several times where Western had goal to go, and they simply could not get in the end zone, and that's a credit to this West Texas A&M defense.
It really is. I mean, they had 5 opportunities once they were inside the 20, 5 opportunities. They cashed in on 2 of those, and so they were held to 2 other field goal attempts, and another time they just turned the ball over, and so the Buffs take advantage of that. And so, again, yes, I think your defense is going to be tired. They were out there a lot tonight, but you saw a lot of good things from the linebacking core, from the secondary. Much better game this week for the secondary, even though Western had quite a few yards through the air, but they were able to keep it in front of them.
Going back to what we talked about in the pregame, the X-Bar Steakhouse X factors of the game. Defensively, it was that defensive line. We talked about Xavier Rivera and Jalen Hill and some of those guys, Dylan Mata. I think the defensive line was phenomenal tonight.
I think they were too. They set a good tone, and that allowed a lot of guys, especially the linebackers, who primarily they were the leading tacklers tonight with the linebackers. And so, and that's good when you're looking at it from it's not your secondary that's leading and tackling, it's your linebackers. And in the 3-4 set, that means they're going to the football and making those stops.
Yeah, because the Buffs had several sacks, especially in the second half. They started to put a lot of pressure on a talented quarterback for Western New Mexico, Devin Larson. Larson finishes the evening through the air, doing a great job as he goes 34 of 53 for 369 yards. He's going to look back, though, and say, I needed more than 1 touchdown. But
exactly.
Again, credit back to the WT defense.
And I think that goes to the fact that we talked about that they were in the red zone 5 times, and they only were allowed to score twice, 1 a running play, 1 a touchdown pass. And so that's where he's going to look at it and said, we had 3 other opportunities we should have taken advantage of.
On the other side, for the X factor of the game offensively, it was Khalil Harris. Khalil was contained for what he had done through the first 2 games, so give credit to Western New Mexico's defense there. But there's some other guys that stepped up tonight for the Buffaloes in terms of running the football.
Yeah, Marcus Lindsey, 5 carries, 53 yards, 2 touchdowns in the ball game tonight. Brandon Blair, 5 carries for 44 yards. He had 2 touchdowns tonight, 1 through the air and 1 on the ground. And so, they didn't get exactly what they wanted, I don't think, overall, at least for Khalil, but they did get the running game going late in the ball game.
And then the last thing for the Buffaloes, Coach Hughes had talked to her in the week about wanting to see his receiving corps step up. And they did that tonight.
They really did. I mean, Tyree Tipton, 4 receptions, 90 yards. He had that 1 49-yard catch that was over the shoulder. That was incredible. He did a nice job with that.
Noah Bagardis.
Bagardis, 3 receptions, 93 yards. One of those, 82 yards. And so that was a touchdown strike. And then Hunter Kaufman, quietly tonight, 4 catches for 62 yards. He had a 44-yard reception as well. So, again, that shows you Nick Gerber was going on some long-range bombs that he was able to connect with several receivers tonight. So 4 of his top receivers all had at least a pass catch of over 35 yards in tonight's ball game. So, again, wide receiver corps stepped up.
Yeah, they were good in the passing game. Career high night for Nick Gerber with a 355 passing yards. So a great job all the way around for West Texas A&M. They win this one 42-14. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll have some highlights, talk more about the statistics, and also get a chance to visit with some of the Buff players and a happy Hunter Hughes tonight. So we'll be back after this timeout. More for post-game after this timeout.
It's got the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of, and now it's here. First Financial Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly, local approval. It's service that just comes naturally to us, much like a love of tradition comes naturally to you. First Financial Bank, You first. Member FDIC.
When you choose natural gas, chocolate chip cookies get a little tastier. Homes get a little cozier. Bank accounts tend to put on some weight. Towels get fluffier. Showers stay hotter for longer. And our blue planet gets a little greener. When it comes to choosing energy that's clean and efficient, nothing else could be more American. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
WT student athletes drink low-fat chocolate milk post-workout because it helps replenish and restore muscles quickly to their peak potential. Scientific studies suggest that the immediate benefits of low-fat chocolate milk include boosted performance, improved training, and higher recovery rates in athletes. Add low-fat chocolate milk to your post-workout routine.
Go Buffs!
Well, an important conference win tonight for West Texas A&M as they defeat Western New Mexico 42-14. And again, a lot of statistics for the Buffaloes in this one tonight. A lot of good stats. We've talked about those a little bit, and a lot of good highlights in this ball game as well. As we kind of take a look at some of the highlights for tonight's ball game. And again, one of those here is on that nice run,
Marcus
Lindsey, and again, kind of like that bowling ball we talked about earlier. Here is Gerber back to pass, and again, looking to air this one out, and this is going to be probably the older shoulder catch. No, that's going to be coming back to the football. That's going to be Tyree, who does a nice job. Again, he already had the defender beat and came back to the football. Here's this to Brandon Blair, then watch, whoop, right there, whoop, and then Brandon just turns on the jets and gets into the end zone for his second touchdown of the night. And again, nice job by Brandon Blair, able to put 6 more on the scoreboard for the Buffaloes. And so, again, and here's another highlight. This, let's see if this is the over-the-shoulder. And it is nicely done, again, by Tyree Tipton. And so Buff's able to get Tyree there, and then they set the Marcus Lindsey up again as he powers his way into the end zone for the score.
Well, and the athleticism as well from Lindsey, because he kind of puts the hand down, but made sure that he did not go down to the turf before he dives across the goal line and scores that touchdown. So
does a nice job as he, again, comes through and is able to make it happen for the Buffaloes in tonight's ball game. Again, the Buffs win this one 42-14.
All right, we'll take a quick 30-second timeout. We're going to come back with some West Texas A&M players as we'll talk to Brandon Blair and also JT Cavender. We're back in 30 seconds on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
This is what a new heart valve looks like. This is what a bypassed artery looks like. And this is what a repaired aortic aneurysm looks like. The BSA Heart and Vascular Team is here to help you live life to the fullest. From our state-of-the-art cardiac technologies to our dedicated heart specialists, our goal is to help you take the very best care of your heart so you can enjoy everything else that matters to you. BSA for life.
Buffalo Stadium, important win tonight for the Buffaloes, 42-14 over Western New Mexico. One of the stars of the ball game tonight, Brandon Blair. And Brandon, it's probably pretty fun for you tonight. A couple of nice big 22-yard run. You go on the right side, and then you get that touchdown pass, a 32-yard connection. And it was one of those, too. It didn't look like you were going to get in the end zone. You have a couple of defenders coming at your feet. You stop, and then let them go by, and then you just turn on the speed and get in the end zone.
Yeah, I actually saw him chasing me down the whole time, and I knew at some point I was going to have to deal with him. But the O-line did great. The tackle did great getting out, lead blocking.
5 carries, 44 yards tonight for you. And, again, those 2 different scores. And you guys were able to mix it up a little bit. It took a while for the running game to get going, but then you finally were able to get it on track.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they blitz a lot, so a lot of times the run's not going to be there, but every now and then one of them misses a gap, and we get that crease, and we get a big one.
Brandon, you're a veteran leader on this team. You've been obviously here at West Texas A&M for several years. You go back to last Saturday, and it didn't go the way we wanted it to go, obviously, at UT Permian Basin. But Coach Hughes had told me it was a great week of practice. Do you feel like we saw the evidence of what you guys did throughout the week to shake off the dust and come back out and get a win tonight?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we went really hard this week. Of course, that left kind of a bad taste in our mouth last week. But I still think we could have played better. The week of practice, how hard we went, it did show, but we could have done a lot better. We left a lot out there.
Okay, what improvements would you say continue to make? Is obviously next week it doesn't get any easier. We're going to have a tough opponent that's going to come here, Colorado School of Mines.
Yes, sir. Well, we had the kickoff, and then they returned deep, so we got to work on that. And then we just got to work on finishing drives as an offense. We had 2 4th downs where we didn't convert, and that was huge. And one was on the goal line, so.
Brandon, you're one of our favorite players, hard-nosed, tough runner. And
Absolutely.
I've said this several times, and maybe even I've told you, when they make the movie for Brandon Blair, you know who's going to play him, right?
Who's
it's
that?
Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, there you go. That's exactly
right here, Brandon Blair.
That's exactly
lunch
right.
pail player running
y'all.
back for the Buffaloes. But great job tonight. We're going to take a quick timeout, and then we're going to bring in JT Cavender, visit with the linebacker for the Buffaloes. Congratulations, Brandon. Great job, and let's keep this momentum going into next week.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
We'll be back after this timeout here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
We are Carpet Tech, and we are family. More than carpet cleaners, we're a team. Diving right in, not afraid to invest in our work and each other. We're killing it day in and day out, never shrinking from a challenge. Our people are 1 part passion, 1 part grit, and about a zillion parts awesome. And we are always looking to add to our family. So what are you waiting for?
J. Ferg Roofing has been protecting our community for 15 years. With more than 30,000 homes and businesses protected by our roofing work, we're proud of our ability to provide efficient, lasting solutions for your roofing needs. What makes us stand out from the competition is that we work for you, dedicated team members who guide you every step of the way. That is the J. Ferg advantage. Quality, experience, fast pass scheduling, customer rewards. We have it all. Call J. Ferg Roofing today for a free inspection. We are J. Ferg Roofing. We are more.
Well, welcome back to Buffalo Stadium as the Buffs come away with a 42-14 win. And one of the linebackers tonight, JT Clevenger, joins us. And again, great win tonight. And again, you led the team in tackles. But it was one of those nights that we kind of talked about last week against UTPB. Maybe there was some things you guys worked on in practice this week as far as the front 7 getting a little bit more pressure.
Yes, sir.
The front 3 did a great job, and that allowed the linebackers just to kind of fly around tonight.
Yes, sir. It's really – we focused on doing our jobs in practice this week, and we had a 20-minute tackling circuit drill to fix the missed tackles of last week, and that really changed our mentality, and we were really running through the hit and trying to drive the running back.
Talk about that a little bit, too, because you talk about a tackling drill, and
yes,
obviously people think, well, that goes on all season long and everything else, but it's not that you're getting sloppy. It's just that sometimes maybe get a little complacent a little bit, and the coaches want you to kind of adjust on that.
Yes, sir. For sure. I think that first game allowed us to get a little complacent.
Right.
And coming into that second game against a little bit better team, we needed to go out there and with that same mentality as we did the first game and not be complacent. And so when we got complacent, they exposed us.
JT, 12 tackles tonight for the Buffaloes from that linebacker spot. There was a difference tonight just in terms of the emotion, the confidence, the swag, if you will, especially from the defensive side. You guys finished with 4 sacks. What was different tonight? I mean, obviously, besides it's a different game plan. You had a great week of practice, but just talk from the emotional side of it with the defense. You guys were flying around and seemed to be having more fun.
Man, being at home makes it a lot of fun.
Okay.
And playing in front of this crowd is a lot of fun. But we can't just do that at home. We have to do it everywhere. And so last week we just lacked on our energy within ourselves. And so we have to create our own energy. And so when we didn't do that last week, it hurt us.
Yeah.
And we were letting the crowd get in our heads and everything like that. And so when we were able to come home and play like we did, we need to do this everywhere, every away game. So.
And we had some players step up as well. There were, even from the linebacker core, we saw some new faces tonight. Some guys stepped up with Chris Thomas out. And so this team is young.
Yes, sir.
This defense is young, and so we like to see guys getting in the mix, and we like to see 42-14 wins.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about the secondary play. I mean, I know they're behind you a little bit, but what was the confidence level for you guys knowing what they were doing tonight?
Man, they boosted our confidence a lot. They were playing lockdown D, making tackles. It was fun to play with them, doing their jobs. What we emphasize every day in practices. And, when everybody does their job, the D-line's getting pressure, we're getting pressure, covering, it's boost our confidence.
It seemed like Eric Collins had a sack, and then all of a sudden it was like a light switch went on, and you guys started really a lot of different players were coming in but getting an opportunity to make sacks.
Yeah, everybody was getting sacks. It was fun. It was a sack party.
JT Cavender, the freshman linebacker from Midlothian, youngster and very talented.
Yes.
Multi-sport athlete, by the way, back in high school. He did everything, even powerlifting. So,
very good.
Coach Hughes had told us, he said, this guy's going to have a breakout season, and he has done that so far.
Good.
So 42-14 the win. We'll take a timeout, come back and talk with head coach Hunter Hughes right after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Bud Light, proudly brewed.
A smile is understood in any language. It represents joy, love, and shows you care. At Full Smile Dental, our mission is to build lifelong relationships one smile at a time by providing accessible, compassionate, quality care with the personal touch of friendship. Come see us at Full Smile Dental, located in Canyon, Amarillo, Dumas, and Dalhart, and ask us about our free Whitening for Life program.
Well, welcome back to Buffalo Stadium. A big win for the Buffs tonight, 42-14 over Western New Mexico. And head coach Hunter Hughes joins us. One of the first things after everybody, says congratulations, shakes hands and everything else, I see Hunter run over to the far sideline, and he is thanking the fans. I mean, because – and JT talked about the energy with the fans tonight.
This is the best two games we've had with fans, with students.
Right.
And I'm hoping that part of it was that Thursday night deal we did so they could see the excitement of what goes on campus. And but I told them, I said, y'all did great tonight, but we got a top 10 team coming in next week, and we're going to need y'all to be better.
Right.
It was like I tell my team, I'm going to need them to be better than they were tonight to play this team coming in because, they score points and they get very good on defense. So, it's going to be a heck of a challenge next week, but, we're going to work on that tomorrow. We're going to enjoy this because, we had a bad taste in our mouth for a week, and the way the game was played last week and some incidents that happened lost our focus, and we didn't have that issue tonight. And, part of it's because of the team we played and that coach and how he coaches them. So.
I think that was a key tonight, watching tonight. It seemed like focus, even from warm-ups tonight, started. Mm-hmm. Everybody seemed locked in and ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's something we talked about, is having a sense of urgency going into this week. And we practiced different this week. We did some things to get that sense of urgency by doing things different. And I think it helped. I think our kids really, responded to what we did. So, I liked the way they came out. And I was asked already downstairs about a lull in the second and third quarter and then the fourth quarter. And I think it was more what Western New Mexico was doing to us defensively and frustrating us a little bit. And, at the start of the fourth quarter, or whenever after they scored a touchdown, I went to the offense. I said, y'all ain't done anything. Y'all scored 3 touchdowns and thought this game was over. You've had missed 2 fourth downs, and said it's time for y'all to finish this game, and they did. So.
Yeah. When Western New Mexico cut it 21-7, the offense really responded. You finished with 479 total yards of offense. The defense, one of the stats that stood out, was 2 of 5 in the red zone for Western New Mexico. So a lot of good things from tonight. Just off the top of your head, though, what are you most proud of, adjustments from last week to this week that you saw tonight?
Well, I think that our intensity was better. I think that, of course, we got some guys back. Hayden Hickerson was back. Tobias Harris was back on defense, and that helped immensely. Tobias brings an energy to our defense every single snap. So he loves playing the game, and when he's in there, it's completely different because he gets guys ready to go and fired up.
Passing game was great tonight too, Coach.
For us or them? For both teams.
It was.
I thought both teams were as good. I mean, hell, they had 420 yards passing.
They did. This is a defensive guy, right?
I'm just telling you, both teams threw the ball well.
But offensively, you told me earlier in the week, you said, I want the receivers to step up.
Yeah. I think they did a good job of stepping up. They got some separation compared to what they did. Now, we're playing against pretty much zero and man-free coverage, and you had to win the one-on-ones there. And we took a lot of shots, and we were successful on, I'd say, 50% of them. Yeah. So that makes a huge difference. So,
okay, so you said it. We got to be even better next week, and it was good hearing from JT and Brandon. They both said, hey, tonight was great, but we know we got to continue to improve. We got a great opponent coming in here next week, and so what do you want to work on, and what do you hope to see, obviously, that will lead to a win next week against a top 10 team?
Well, they're top 10 for a reason, and, they do everything good. I mean, a little bit I've seen of them, they execute so well. They are, they're Colorado Mines. I've played them many times. Yeah. This is what you're going to get out of Coach Brandon's team is they're going to be very well coached, very well disciplined. They're going to do, if he tells them to run a corner route and snap it at 6 and go to the corner, they're snapping it at 6. And that quarterback is really good. He's a Harlan Hill candidate, and he can run and he can put the ball right where it needs to be. So, we're going to have to come out and play some different things, and hopefully we can tackle well. I thought we tackled better tonight. Still did some things that tackling that I want to see better. But, overall, without seeing the film, I was impressed with our tackling. I thought some inside linebackers had to play tonight because Chris was out. But I thought they stepped up and did a decent job. But we got to be better next week. Yeah. That's the whole bottom line. We got to be better next week.
And hopefully we have a really good crowd as well, even better crowd.
Exactly. It's not every day.
Get everybody out here.
It's not every day a top 10 opponent comes into your house.
That's right.
So
and they're coming from Colorado. And, hey, last time we had somebody from the state of Colorado come here, top 10. I think the Bucks got a win, right?
We found a way to win in the fourth quarter. And that's the whole key is you got to find a way. Yeah. As long as you find a way to win.
I got one more question for you before we let you out of here. The fat heads over there that the student section was holding up. Which fat head is better selling, maybe more popular? Zane Madison with the glorious mullet, or right here Hunter Hughes with the nice smile?
I'm going to tell you what. I saw a fat head of me over there. My mom said something already to me, and she was like, I sent a picture, and
she wants one.
Every sibling I had was like, when did they catch him smiling? They photoshopped the smile and all this. And, look at me. I'm smiling now.
Yeah, right now.
It's when you catch me, you got to catch me at the right time. So, but I thought, again, I'm going to say that our student section was great. And that was a good surprise to see that. I think they used an HD camera. Thank God it was a good day for me whenever they got that picture. But, it's fun that they get involved, and I want them to be a part of this. They help us tremendously in every game, and our crowd on our sideline is really good, really loud, really boisterous as well. But those students over there, my hat's off them. I love to see when I walk in the stadium and see it all set up already, and I'm like, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
So
great job tonight. Buffs get the win 42-14 over Western New Mexico, and the Buffs are now 2-1 on the season. So we'll take one final timeout, come back and wrap things up here from Buffalo Stadium. We're back after these messages here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
It's got the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of, and now it's here. First Financial Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly, local approval. It's service that just comes naturally to us, much like a love of tradition comes naturally to you. First Financial Bank, you first. Member FDIC.
When you choose natural gas, chocolate chip cookies get a little tastier. Homes get a little cozier. Bank accounts tend to put on some weight. Towels get fluffier. Showers stay hotter for longer. And our blue planet gets a little greener. When it comes to choosing energy that's clean and efficient, nothing else could be more American. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
Welcome back to Buffalo Stadium. Again, a big, important 42-14 win tonight for the Buffs over Western and New Mexico. 2-1 on the season, 1-1 in conference play. And again,
happy Hunter Hughes.
Very happy Hunter Hughes. Happy players. I mean, and like he said, they're going to enjoy this one tonight, and they should. After the bus ride back and everything else last week, take this one, go spend time with your family, your friends, and enjoy it. And then get ready for the big one next week.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a big one against Colorado School of Mines.
Mines will be a tough team. We know that, no doubt. But, again, I love what the players and what Coach Hughes were saying. This place, and we can get even more people in here next Saturday. So we want to encourage all the fans. I mean, tell everybody about the big game next Saturday because we have seen WT do that before, knock off a top 10 opponent. And really, when you think about it, obviously with Mines, is the pressure a little more on them traveling, coming on the road into maybe what we hope is a hostile environment. And so if there's a point spread on the Division II, Buffs are not going to be picked to win next week.
No, they're not. And the thing is, there is going to be pressure on Colorado School of Mines because they are a top 10 team, number 7, I believe, in the country right now. And so, and they know they're coming in to face a quality opponent. And so for them, they've got to be ready to play as well. And again, you never know when you go, like they said tonight, the players said tonight, you never know when you go on the road. And sometimes you got to create your own energy. And so that's going to be up to them to be able to create their own energy, and we hope the fans are here next Saturday night in order to give the Buffs a lot of home energy.
It was a great game here tonight. I want to, again, thank our game sponsor, Texas Farm Bureau, for their support and all of our sponsors here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network. Great job by our Thunder Vision crew tonight. Up here in the booth, we had both Chris Jaquist and also Jamie Abbott, and so we'll be working with Jamie a lot this season. Does a fantastic job. She'll be working with us in volleyball as well this season. Our camera operators, Jacob Johnson, Peyton Stokes, Nicole Williams, Kaysen Johnson, replay operator Jacob Griffin. Also a big shout out to Zach Kamenkow, as that you know him from the Buffs baseball team.
There you go.
And so for all the Thunder Vision crew, I want to say a great job. Thank you for watching tonight on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network. Final score again, Buffs win 42-14. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.